Hi, creepies. I am ReAnimateHer.
I know, it just sounds like a porno all of a sudden. Some zombies start stripping their clothes off and shit.
Cat dead. Details later.
We got our ball cleavage back, ladies.
They're coming to get you, Barbara. They're coming for you, Barbara.
Do you want a game and get your jollies off as well? This is Coffee Chat of Horrors. If anything can go wrong this morning, it will. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Yes, Lament, we are talking with Pants Ninja today. The Pants Ninja, aka Dr. Herbert West, is from the Pants Ninja channel over on YouTube. Pants Ninja runs a variety channel of live interviews and just live streams. Loves to play Dr. Herbert West cosplay. And I got to meet the Pants Ninja via his parody account on Twitter, which is Dr. Herbert West. There's a huge community on Twitter that does a lot of role-playing from the horror genre. So you've got Dr. Herbert West, you have all sorts of people doing parody accounts. And Pants Ninja is one. So I'm going to give the mic over to Pants Ninja, guys.
Well, hi, everybody. Good morning. How's it going? I'm the Pants Ninja, a.k.a. that Dr. Herbert West one, that parody account over on Twitter. Yeah, she pretty much summed it up. YouTube, we do YouTube shows, we do content creation, do some graphic design, write some stories, have some fun. Just here to support the community and, entertain, be creative. That's what we're here for.
It's always a good time. I've come for the pants. Hello,
Metal.
Mad.
That's my dude Metal.
That's your dude Metal. Awesome. Well, good morning, the Mad Metal Man, and welcome to the Crypt. Thank you for your follow 3 hours ago. I appreciate it. Hello, Taco Smurf. Good morning. If you guys have any questions for the Pants Ninja, you know how Coffee Chat of Horrors goes. Please tag me in your question. You can ask anything, obviously within terms of service and respectful. Not over the crazy shit.
I'll answer just about anything personally.
Yeah.
Just about.
And that is good because we get a lot of different questions that go on here. Tell me, how did you get the name The Pants Ninja?
Well, that's a bit of a story. So I was toying around on Facebook. This is probably like 7-8 years ago, right? I was watching these meme pages pop up and stuff, and I'm like, oh, that looks like fun, right? So I'm like, what can I do? And I just started thinking of the goofiest things I could. And the underwear gnomes from South Park hit me, and I'm like, what if it was ninjas that steal pants, right? So I started this meme page. It was So Where Are My Pants? And we did like a bunch of silly stuff. And then we created this, I created this character, and we just went with it as a tagline, the Pants Ninja. Which it turned into like the backstories on this character just keep changing all the time. And I don't know. It was almost like a Kaiser Soze kind of thing, but for a while. But that turned into, so I do I do graphic design and animation and stuff sometimes. Started Mystic Ninja Designs, small little thing I do, freelance for freelance artwork and commissions and such.
Nice. I'm going to interrupt you there. Do you have a website for that? Because I didn't find that in your streamer links.
I know it was low key. I was doing it off, I had a little Facebook business thing.
Okay.
And now we just pick up clients here and there because what happened was that turned into, I joined this radio site online. It was wickednation.net. We were big into the whole underground rap scene, rock. There's a whole Juggalo community with the ICP stuff I was connected with for a while. And I hosted a show over there called the Dojo, and I would pick up art clients that way. And I've done stuff for a lot of underground musicians in that scene, like merch designs, CD covers, things like that, whatever. And it just turned into this whole thing for a while. So I had a co-host, Sasha Doll. So shout out to her if she ever pops over here and says hi again. She pops on once in a while. And we did interviews. I've had musicians, independent business owners,
Nice.
indie pro wrestlers, anyone. I would just and we used to host music too because of the website, and we couldn't get banned and such, right?
Right.
Then the station changed to Muser Nation, and then we went on with that for a year or two until the site got shut down, I guess. Just random stuff happens, right?
Right.
It's life. Trying to think, this has been like 7-8 years ago, and I'm half awake. So I took a little hiatus, and I just did art clients off Facebook for a while. Within the past, I'd say a year or two, I started slowly moving to YouTube, and that's kind of where we're at now.
Right.
So no website for the artwork stuff. It's just something I pick up through, talking to people and just getting the feelers out there, see who needs what type deal.
Right on. Well, you guys heard that. He does graphic work as well. For those of you that are new to this channel, our guest, Pant Ninja, we have a command, ! guest. Everybody and anybody can use it. If you want to stalk the Pant Ninja on any of the social media, it's right there. And all you have to do is ! guest if you don't see it in the chat, but my mods and I will always be posting it out. Big Blue, to answer your question, no, I have not. But we do have a question for you from the Mad Metal Man. What was your first horror movie, the first one you can remember watching?
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, let's go back to the 80s, because that's when I grew up. So here, once again, here's a story, because I like to tell stories. So at the time, my mom was working for, I think it was like a bookstore that rented movies and stuff, too. So this was probably like 1980, I don't know, 1986 or something. I was maybe like 4, something like that, 5. She brought home, I don't know if it was 86, but it was around that time, Dream Warriors, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. Scared the shit out of me. Okay. I'm like, Freddie freaked me out in the 80s. You know how big he was back then. Like, he was like,
yes.
like everywhere. But I kind of like, that was the biggest one that hit me. Other than watching like the Universal Monster stuff, I used to get books from my school library in like 2nd grade, reading about like the Invisible Man and King Kong and Frankenstein and stuff. So I'd say that's probably the most impactful, and the one that I remember the most as being one of my first ones. Nice. If that helps you.
Oh yeah, Freddie has been a first for many. Many. My very first one was Friday the 13th. I was little, so obviously at the age of 5, you don't really know what's going on the TV. Like when you're watching it, right. You don't realize that hockey mask guy with the machete is chopping up people and murdering them. You're just watching it, not realizing, not comprehending, right? But that was one of my very first movies that I seen. And then Jaws scared the ever-living shit out of me.
Oh, Jaws, yeah. Yeah. That was a fun one, I gotta say.
Oh, yeah.
Something to be said about the classics, as I call it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. 80s was a great era for horror on every level, because we had the influences of the 70s and the 60s coming in, which we had Romero, and then The Exorcist coming in with their first kind of really scary movie based in the paranormal or in good versus evil. That there was another scary film that came out and then influenced a lot of the 80s films. But I think in 78 Halloween and 1960s Psycho also help ignite the slasher genre.
Right. Yep.
Oh, we do have another question here from Big Wild Blue 97. I have a question for you, dude. Did you remember the 1986 version of The Fly with Jeff Goldblum?
Oh, first off, shout out Big Wild. Thank you for the question. Very well. That became one of my favorite movies as a kid, and I still love it to this day. Goldblum was amazing. The effects were amazing, and just the whole transformation, not only physically but mentally in that movie, Goldblum really pulled it off well. I gotta say, in my opinion. Yeah, fantastic movie. Absolutely love it. Still, like, some of those effects are a little like, ugh, but they're great. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
I love The Fly. No, don't get me wrong. The original Fly with Vincent Price, that was a lot of fun. And seeing the puppeteer and the costume in the original Fly, and then in David Cronenberg is the godfather of body horror. I love body horror, and I love David Cronenberg. And when he was in doing stuff with The Fly, it was really disgusting. The fingernail scene. Bleh.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. That and when he spit up the food stuff and like just and I'm like,
yeah. And the effects in that one, the special effects. This is all makeup. This is not CGI where you see his fingernails start falling off, or the pus, or when he does spit out his like acid or whatever it was onto people, and then their body parts kind of melted off of them.
It was a great time, like you were saying, with the 80s. We had that 70s influence coming in still, and I remember like Vincent Price was a big thing for me as a kid too. And I'm going to say that Edward Scissorhands performance still hits my heart, like it really does.
Yeah. Oh, I like Edward Scissorhands and Tim Burton films. That's my cat. She always gets her 15 minutes and gets the fuck up and leaves. And then he'll come back again and try to eat my cords.
Yay, kitty.
Yes, I agree with you, Mad Metal Cronenberg. He does need more love. He's directed numerous films, but to me, I just love his films. His special effects are great. And yep, Mr. Price. The first movie I ever saw as a child was Aliens. Aliens is a good film.
Aliens, yeah.
No, I haven't seen the new Ghostbusters yet. Not at all. Have you seen the new Ghostbusters, Pants Ninja?
Not yet, but it's on my list. I want to see it. I like Paul Rudd. First off, I'm just gonna say that straight up. He's fun. I'm curious where they're gonna take it. Like I didn't read any spoilers or anything like that. I saw the trailer and I'm like, I'm gonna give it a chance. The last Ghostbusters was okay for what it was. But I'm sorry, you need Bill Murray. I mean, he's my dude. I love Bill Murray.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Katrina Kitty Cat 47, welcome to the Crypt. Thank you for the follow. Hello, Sir Adam Mantine.
Sir Adam Mantine, my brother, what's going on? Good to see you.
Would it be better? Oh, Riggs, I hope so. I still haven't seen the female remake of the Ghostbusters, and I won't. I have my own thing on that one, but I will not see it. But I do have a question from AkeOG for you. If you could be in a horror movie of your choice, past, present, or even future, what movie would you choose and why?
Wow. That I have like 4 answers for this.
Go for it.
I'm first off, I'm going to say anything Trauma, because Trauma is like my life.
Yes.
Full Moon, anything Full Moon 2, Charles Band shout out. I would love to be in a like Toxic Avenger Puppet Master kind of thing. That'd be fun.
That would.
Also Return of the Living Dead. That was a fun movie. I absolutely love that movie. Something along those lines. And obviously I could do a ReAnimateHer. Sure. But I'll go with that. I'll go with those. I hope that answers the question to a point.
Yeah, those are great films. I always wanted to be in a horror movie, but not act in one. I just want to be murdered in one, violently, or even be the killer. Other than that, I have no interest in being a final girl or anything other than to be brutally murdered. Is there any recent horror films that you have watched that you have enjoyed?
Recent? Well, I'm going to give a shout out to Carousel, because that was a fun one. We had Steve Woodzinski in our show last night, director, writer, actor. I've been watching a lot of his films to get caught up with the show, and like I'm gonna say, if you guys get a chance, check his stuff, his work out. He has stevebuster.com. It's an OnlyFans, but you pay and watch his movies, right? And Tubi. So I'm gonna go with like Carousel 2. I'm getting ready to watch. I like campy. I like independent. I like fun. And special effects are my bag. Like, get me on that,
Yeah, they make a movie. I mean, I understand CGI is the way to go for like Marvel films and shit like that.
Sure.
I'm not really big into those, but keep horror special effects. Keep it as real to life as possible. I know CGI can give us a more real, visceral look, but I still love the old, oatmeal and a mixture of honey to make the stairs and and Nightmare on Elm Street when she's running up those stairs. It's made out of oatmeal and other bullshit stuff that when she puts her foot in, it's not CGI. I really enjoy that in horror. I don't care for I don't care for a shit ton of CGI at all in any film, to be honest with you.
I can get down with that. This is something I've been doing these horror panels recently, weekly, and and one of the big questions I ask is CGI versus practical effects. And not to keep talking about this, but last night with Steve, we were talking with him, and he made a good point. Like a good balance can work great,
Oh, of course.
But growing up, like in the era I did, I was Tom Savini, Nicotero, like a lot of those had influences on me artistically too, because I like to play around with effects too. Like I do, like gore. Had my jaw ripped off for something one time, like latex toilet paper. I'm telling you, a little hair dryer, boom.
Latex and toilet paper are really good. I do a lot of my when I create my Frankenstein monster look where I have all my stitches, and I utilize liquid latex and toilet paper because it works really good.
I hear there's better ways to do things, but I like it. Yeah.
It's low budget. It doesn't cost me a shit ton of money. I get a bottle of latex every Halloween from Spirit of Halloween, especially when it's the next day and everything goes like 50% off. So I load up on fake blood, and I also make my own fake blood, but I load up on all that shit because it's cost effective. Cosplaying is very, very expensive, especially if you're trying to be on point with your looks, exactly what you see in the film or wherever. It's expensive. And if I can cut corners and save myself some money.
Yeah, if you can do it on a budget, have the same effect, why not, right?
Why not, right? I mean, in the 80s, when they created things, they had very little budget for special effects, and that's why they kept everything so real. They would use fishing hose and all sorts of stuff to create the effects that we needed that were so awesome.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, that's what really got me into it was growing up in that, like I said, I was born in like 82, and as a child in that era, like that's what we knew. That's what we learned. That's how we did it, and getting into, like I said, Trauma, Toxic Avenger was one of my first loves forever. Lloyd Kaufman, watching his stuff and how to make your own damn movie and how to do this and that. I feel like I've learned a lot just watching him, and how him and Trauma just went through it with, like you were saying, on a budget. You have so much time. Got to use whatever you can get sometimes,
That you do. And Trauma is... It just shows you how practical effects can get you so far, and it can get you really far. You don't need the CGI and the expensive CGI to get what you're going for. I remember when Uncle Lloyd and Mike Hurt started Trauma back in the early 70s, Blood-Sucking Freaks. That one, oh my God, that was awesome. If you haven't seen Blood-Sucking Freaks, you should. And talk about out of pocket, in 2006 when they did Poultrygeist Night of the Chicken Dead, which is one of my favorites.
Great one.
It came out of his wife and his pocket, and they still haven't made the money back from putting out for that film.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So independent creators, that's where it goes to, independent creators.
I'm a big fan of the indie film industry, especially this day and age, because big movie companies, Hollywood movies as I call it, like everything's like reproductions of like the old stuff. They redid how many movies in the past how many years. The reason for that, and I was watching a Carpenter interview recently. He was talking about it's easier to market a name that people already know, like with the Halloween remakes and everything else, and it's just them trying to make money. It's not even about the creative spirit anymore. I feel like
it's very rare you have a remake that is either on par or better than the original film. Example, Evil Dead. 2013 compared to the original, oh my fucking God. That was an awesome remake. You've got House on Haunted Hill, 1999 remake, which was as good as the original. And actually, you can say 1999 technically isn't fully a remake because they did change quite a bit in the storyline. But you have 13 Ghosts that had a remake later on.
That was fun.
It was fun. It wasn't like the best end, but it was good. It was on par with the original. Whereas we've had remakes like Child's Play, The Nightmare on Elm Street, that weren't the greatest. I do have a couple of questions for you. Big Wild Blue wants to know from myself and you. I seen the zombie episode of Marvel. Have you ever seen it? And have you seen the Marvel Zombies animated series on Disney Plus?
I'm not a big Disney supporter. I'll say that straight up. I don't. Yeah. Like when they bought Marvel, they bought Lucasfilm, just like Monopoly, and nobody's stopping them. And no. I'm not down with that. Now, with that being said, I haven't watched any of that stuff, but I do collect the Marvel Zombie comics. I have a bunch of hardcovers over there. I had some Night of the Living Deadpool for a while too. That was another one I was trying to pick up on. I like horror comics. I used to collect them. I still do once in a while. But sadly, I've not seen any of those shows or anything like that.
No, me neither. I haven't either, Big Wild Blue. And I'm with Pants Ninja here. I do not support Disney. I do not like Disney. I do not support them. If Disney has something that I need to watch, I will try to find it someplace else on the internet. Then have to pay them a one fucking dime. But that is my thing about Disney. I don't care for them at all.
I don't completely hate them. I don't like some of the business stuff that's going on.
I don't like any of their business stuff that goes on, and they buy up everything on purpose. Like they've bought everything, and I don't like that. It's a monopoly. They're doing it for a reason, and this is not the place to talk about how I hate Disney.
Right. We can talk about that sometime, sure.
Another time.
Like, it's not just Disney. It's big Hollywood in general.
It really is. But and Disney's a huge part. Disney owns quite a bit of companies. You'd be surprised if you dig around in their background on what companies they own. It's Hollywood's becoming a monopoly. Independent creators like Uncle Lloyd Kaufman and Troma, they're fighting. Right? They're still on an uphill battle. You've got a lot of independent films and production companies coming out. Womp Stomp Films, one of my favorites. Love Vincent DeSanti, and James Sweet from Red Crow Films is another independent. Jason Rising, which is their movie that recently came out, which is all fan-based. Look at 13 Fanboy, that had some of the biggest horror celebrities inside of it, and that movie was paid all for by fans.
And that's what it's about. I feel like when you get the community more involved in projects, it's like the old school days, like with music when people were handing out like mixtapes out the back of their trunk and stuff, right? Like we need more of that, and I feel like we need more of that. But in the same regard, there's an oversaturation at times of trying to find what's decent and what's not. Not that I'm saying whatever about anyone,
right?
But it's hard to, you gotta weed through some bad ones, just like back in the day when you're picking out movies on a shelf. Same idea.
Oh yeah, a lot of the times I'd pick movies because of the cover art of the VHS sleeve, right?
It was the cover art or the movie poster.
Exactly. Like, I gotta see that shit. So I really miss like VHS, DVD, home rental places. I really do miss them. The Mad Metal Man, Pant and ReAnimateHer, what intellectual properties would you want to see a movie or remake of?
I might need a minute to think on that one.
Go for it. I will say that there are some really good old films that could use a remake for the modern era. Now, when I say old, I'm going back to the 1930s and 1940s. Because they get lost. Nowadays, the youth only sees what has been produced in the 2000s, actually late 2000s. And like with my spawns, my children, I raise them on classic horror. They know the Universal monsters. They know Hammer horror. But there are films a lot of films that the young ones, and when I mean young ones, and I'm talking about the 20s and the 30s, when I say young ones, they have never seen White Zombie from 1932, and I'm not saying remake the Universal monster classics because they don't really need remakes, but there are some that people haven't seen or heard of that I think could use a good remake or an update on it.
I can get down with that. Yeah, especially like you said, the
Yeah,
classic
man.
era. The what is it? What was that? The golden era? Is that what they called that?
Yeah, of the 30s.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking like Freaks, but I like that for what it
Like
was.
Freaks.
Yeah,
Disney
that was.
purchased Freaks.
Uh,
Freaks used to be public domain,
yeah.
and then they bought it up.
See, that's what people need to look into: is find these public domain films, start buying them for yourself. You know what I mean? Come up with some money, crowdfund, like. And once again, I'm going to go back to Troma. I've noticed they've been doing that on their streaming site. They pick up a lot of classic movies. It's not just horror, sex, and gore. They had some Lassie on there. They had like
Yeah.
a whole bunch of Bela Lugosi stuff. I feel like the smaller companies should really be looking into that more, trying to preserve the past.
Yeah.
I don't really know about remakes though. Like I wouldn't mind seeing like another take on ReAnimateHer. I love Jeffrey Combs,
Oh, I
but
love Jeffrey.
like the story itself, like Herbert West was blonde. Come on, like he was blue eyed. It was a whole different thing.
For H.P. Lovecraft, but see, a lot of the films and a lot of the video games are loosely based off of Lovecraft. Lovecraft doesn't actually have true to story films out there, if you think about it. He maybe has a couple, but if you know anything about Dr. Herbert West, he is quite a bit different than what you see in 1985 ReAnimateHer. But I would like to see a more true to life story. I mean, and we all know that Lovecraft hated Dr. Herbert West stories, and he only did them because he got paid $5 per episode that he actually put in that paper. It wasn't his favorite out of his storyline, but one of the biggest out of his storyline that have come besides Cthulhu. Cthulhu is another big one, and I would love to see a full-on adaptation of many of, especially Cthulhu, of his work. We don't really have we have loosely based off of, like ReAnimateHer was very loosely based off of his novels, his short stories of Dr. Herbert West. But I would love a full-on Cthulhu.
Like the whole mythos would be fun, I think.
Right?
Connect more into the elder gods, because I'm still learning Lovecraft. I've watched a lot of, like I said, ReAnimateHer. I've watched Dagon. Dagon was a fun one.
Have you seen, I'm going to give you a documentary to watch on Lovecraft. It's a little over 2 hours, and it has Del Toro, Carpenter. It is, I'm going to have to think of the name because I cannot remember it. If you have Amazon Prime, it's on there. But I will get the name for you and DM it to you. It's a really good documentary. It goes over Lovecraft. It goes into a lot of different things about Lovecraft. Whether you love or hate him, he did have some issues.
Well, he did, but I will say that the fact that a lot of his stuff's public domain. He didn't copyright, trademark, whatever. He wanted people to build off his stuff, which I think was interesting, and I like the idea. Yeah, but he definitely had issues. I will say that.
Oh yeah,
that's all. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Exactly. And if people want to know, they can go to the website to find a lot of Lovecraft. ReAnimateHer, Lovecraft, Fear of the Unknown. Yep.
Yeah.
And I agree with you, Mad Metal. I heard rumors about Mountains of Madness in the works. I have heard that. Richard Stanley was going to do Dunwich Horror, but things happened. Yes.
Yeah, Dunwich Horror would be fun.
Yes, it would. There isn't there an original film, the Dunwich Horror. I think I did a coffee chat of horrors on that one. That's the document's name, Lovecraft: Fear of the Unknown. Thanks, Joy. Okay. I think that's exactly what it is. There's a few Lovecraft ones, but the one that I think that might be it. There's a couple of them.
Sounds like something I might have bookmarked at some point.
Yeah, or bookmarked. Del Toro and Carpenter are in it. The two that I could remember off the top of my head from the last time I seen it. Big Wild Blue wants to know, ReAnimateHer and Pants Ninja, did you ever play the remakes of Resident Evil 2 and 3? And have you seen the reboot of the movie franchise? Thanks, Joy.
I was going to say, if you want to take it first, feel free.
I've played the remake of Resident Evil 2. I enjoyed it. I still own and I have not played Resident Evil 3. I've pre-ordered that bitch and I still have it in my games list that I haven't even touched yet. As for the movie franchise, I enjoyed the movies. I think the films are fun. We do have a big RE fan in here by the name of Regal Once or 13. She loves Resident Evil. And now over to you.
Oh yeah, no, that's cool. We went into this last night too a little bit, which is funny. I'm a huge Resident Evil game fan. From like the original, I thought it was fantastic. It was one of the first survival horror I really got into. Regarding the remakes, I think I own 2 and 3. I have to relook on my Steam list because I have like 200 some games on there. I don't even remember what I have half the time. I didn't know they were rebooted movies. They're remaking the movie series?
They are making another Resident Evil film, but I think he was more along the lines of the game Resident Evil, because they did remake Resident Evil 2 and 3. They just released Resident Evil 2, I think, in like 2019, and then 3 in 2020, but I don't remember the years. I just own them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's what I said. I bought them all on some kind of sale they had a while back. I played through 3, maybe? I'm trying to remember which ones I played through, because I played like 1, 2, 3, 4, like all the originals on like PlayStation 2 and all that stuff. I'm trying to remember, man. I liked the graphics. I'm a big graphic guy, obviously. Like I did some school for game design and stuff, so I toy around with things. I feel like a lot of the Resident Evil now is not even just Resident Evil, but games in general are just interactive movies half the time. You know?
Yes.
Quite a change.
Oh, yeah. Have you checked out any of the Dark Picture anthology games? Man of Medan, I think it's Little Hope. And the last one that I just recently played was amazing. These games, they are very in-depth, very cinematic video games. I can't remember the last one. I just played it too. I cannot remember for the House of Ashes. Thank you, Joy Toy, for saving me yet again. The House of Ashes by Dark Picture Anthologies. Oh my God, it's such a gorgeous game. It does bring in Pazuzu. And it's a co-opable game that you can play with. The storyline works with either one single player or 2 players, and you get to play the other character in the game. If you want to see it, I know it's somewhere on my YouTube channel, but I will be playing that game again. It was a lot of fun. It was a great game. If you want to see cinematic games, exactly, Dark Picture Anthologies is a good one.
I actually just bookmarked this. Yeah, definitely be checking that out. It's no Phantasmagoria, let me tell you, but I'll take it.
Right? Phantasmagoria.
That game was so controversial at the time, too. Like, because the gore, the death scenes, everything. And I didn't have a PC like that back then, but later years I got into it. It's fun. I like I miss the movie CGI, like whatever that was. What the technology back then was just so campy and fun. Yes.
I loved Until Dawn. I still need to play it to where I keep everyone alive, because when I first played have you played Until Dawn?
I have not.
So when I first played Until Dawn, my goal was to murder everybody as violently as I possibly could. And I did that.
Life goals.
Yeah, right? So I did. I think I had like 2 people survive. And it's a really fun game. The people who created Until Dawn are the same people who... is it the same in the same universe? I'm not really sure if it's the same people that created Until Dawn, that created The Man of Medan and House of Ashes. Hello, Rockout Guy. Until Dawn is a game that's on PlayStation. So if you own a PlayStation, I would recommend the game. It's a story mode game where you get to play different characters in the game. Same devs. Thanks, Joy. You get to play different characters in the game, and you have an outcome depending on the moves that you make. It's a very interesting game. The controls are quite weird. Well, I found them quite weird from a normal game, but very in-depth, and I really enjoyed it. I still have to play it again.
I'll tell you, I'm PC exclusively these days after systems started rising and expenses. I
still have my PlayStation 4. I will not buy a 5. And I still have my Xbox One X. Will not buy another one until these guys die.
I feel that. I collect old systems like NESs and stuff and try to repair them.
Oh, right on. I have every PlayStation that has been made except for the PlayStation 5.
I like it. I approve wholeheartedly of this. Good vibes. Good vibes.
Yep, I have an NES and I have a small, the little NES Mini. I was looking recently at an Atari 2600 that came with, I think it came with 13 games, the paddles, the whole kit and caboodle. It was like $300 Canadian for an Atari 2600 with games. Yeah. Yeah.
I have one in the garage, but it's missing a power cord. I've been trying to track down a power source for a while.
Yeah, those were fun games back in the day. No saves.
No saves. What I really enjoyed was like when you had to put the things on the TV to like the map out the game or whatever. I miss those graphics, let me tell you.
Definitely. Kids have no idea the struggle of video games back in the day. They have saves now. They can save everything they want. Back in the day, no. You stayed there until you finished it. Because if you turned off your TV, so when I had my NES, there was times where I left my NES on all friggin' night, turned off the TV because I did not want to lose my spot. And the parents just don't understand that you just can't turn it off and turn it back on again.
You're hitting my soul, my heart right now, let me tell you.
Many a times I've left my NES on and then someone would shut it off and I'd be like, why?
Yeah, I'm thinking back, man. Like, I remember trying to beat like Bad Dudes and like Back to the Future and like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, one of the worst games ever. Oh my lord. Get me freaking started on that shit. I'll rant.
I have the NES version of Friday the 13th. That game is so hard.
I definitely own that one. There's I'm gonna shout out my buddy Zero the 14th. He does speed runs of that on Twitch. Part of the
Nice.
Parody universe on Halloween verse over on Twitter. He's got me watching that stuff and like, okay, I'm learning a lot of things. Like I've never like unlocked everything in that game all these years. I've beaten the game maybe twice. I have a copy over here. Just got to hook everything up. But that's a great game. Like that and even Nightmare on Elm Street was fun.
Yes, Nightmare on Elm Street, yep. Mm-hmm.
When you had to put the 4-player thing, plug it in and like, what was that? What's called that? The satellite or something?
Yeah, I don't remember the name of it. And Riggs, yeah, you remember memory cards, having to put memory cards in. Back when I was gaming, there was no such thing as a fucking memory card. There was no cheat guides. There was no online to figure out how to beat shit. You gamers today have it easy because all you got to do is go to Google. How do I do this? Or how do I beat this? Boom, there's a guide right there, a walkthrough. Back in the day, there were no walkthroughs. There was no nothing. You had to figure it out yourself. And that was a huge challenge back in the day.
I was lucky. Like, I remember Nintendo Power and Game Pro.
Yeah, but that came down later?
That was later, yeah. That was like, I got into that like early 90s, I want to say.
Yeah. And there was, the cheat codes that you could put into your games, like Mortal Kombat, different codes that you could put in. But again, they didn't come out until much later. Gaming in the early 80s, your Coleco, your Atari, and an 85, your NES. And yeah, Game Genie, that was a Heaven Sent. That came down later on, right? The Zelda games, those puzzles.
Oh, Zelda was fun. I'll tell you a quick story, and this is funny to me.
Yeah, go for it.
Talking on the NES stuff, like, so one of the first games I played for NES was Galaga. And that was my first introduction to like real gaming, right? And I'd go over to my neighbor's house and we'd play the crap out of that until I finally convinced my parents to buy one, you know? Sure enough, they did. They bought a Nintendo. And then the power went out the second we got home because it was this big storm. And all us kids were like waiting. It's me and my sister. My brother was still a baby at that time. And finally power came back on. Folks hooked it up. My dad and mom stayed up all night playing Mario Brothers. And dad called into work the next day to take me. It was hilarious, but we were like on edge trying to play these games, and that was a big part of my childhood was that NES and hitting the local arcades, you know?
Arcades is where I grew up. House of the Dead, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games. Like that's where I lived. Do you guys remember when the first pad came out for NES, the dance pad? And you were able to do things on that? It just plugged right in to your NES?
The power pad.
Yes. And then you would just dance on it and whatever. Yeah, I remember that. Me and my sister had that as well.
We got that later on, like World Class Track Meet and Street Cop, I remember playing on that thing. God, that was a terrible game too.
There were so many horrible games back then as well. I
Oh,
do love the arcade. We don't really have arcades here anymore, but I used to love the
right.
roller rink as well. You'd be
Oh
able to
yeah.
go to the roller rink, and they had an arcade. They had the dance going on with the roller skates. It was a good time back then. We don't really, where I live, we don't really have any of that anymore. You have an arcade, but it's really fucking cheesy and it's really expensive. Back in the day,
Right.
you take your allowance, you drop your whole allowance into the quarter machine, and you'd get your or tokens, and just pop in there and spend the entire day there. You knew where your kids were. My mom always knew
hmm
where we were. She didn't have to worry that we were on the street corner. We were at the arcade.
Oh, and that's funny. I was talking about that the other day with somebody because we had a roller rink too. This was, I'm going to say, early 90s we're looking at. So the Simpsons arcade game was out.
Yes.
Street Fighter 2 was a big thing. I was like, early, like maybe 12 or something. And all my money would go into the Simpsons. It was some kind of WWF superstar game or something where you had to insert quarters to get more power, right? um, and then Street Fighter 2, and I was beating like 20-some-year-olds at the age of 12 playing Street Fighter 2. I thought it was the shit. You know what I mean? Like, I got this.
Yeah.
Ooh. Ooh.
I love the X-Men game at the arcade. That was one of the games that I played. House of the
was
Dead
great.
was one of the games that I played religiously there. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was another one that I played on the arcade. Pinball was one of my favorites to do. I mean,
Ooh.
pinball is not the same when you do it digitally because Xbox, PlayStation, they all have pinball games, but it's not the same when you're sitting there at the game and just, doing your thing. And yeah,
A little
love
tilt
pinball.
action,
Exactly.
There was this I forget what it was, but it was like called Whirlwind or something, a pinball game I used to play in the 90s, made by Midway. Where you hit these little thing and there was this fan up there that used to blow air and it'd be like the storm's coming and then the whole thing would light up. It was this whole
That's
I
your
miss those
interactive
games.
gaming back in the day, right?
Yeah,
That's your
yeah.
interactive gaming. We didn't have anything that did that at home, like your VR set. We had so many different pinball machines. Love them. Demolition
Oh.
Man was one of your favorites in the 90s, Hunter? Nice.
I'm trying to scroll through the chat here. I know I missed a couple things. Somebody was asking about Bill Murray movies earlier.
Oh,
I
did I
totally-
miss that?
I
Shit.
think they wanted like top 3 or 5. I can't remember.
Hold on, let me just scroll up. Hey, Pants Ninja, did you ever watch Tales from the Dark Side? Tales from the Dark Side was awesome.
Oh yeah. I've Tales from Dark Side, Tales from the Crypt, the movies, the shows.
Yes, the
Yeah.
shows are awesome.
Actually, Crypt Keeper right here. Total talking Crypt Keeper head.
That's awesome. I
Good
love
times.
that. I have the entire collection of Tales from the Crypt on DVD, and it's one of my favorites. I grew up watching. Hello, Dark Tom and N420. Hello, good morning, good morning. We are being raided, but we're doing an interview, so I don't have my raid scene today. But welcome, raiders, welcome. If you're just joining us, I am ReAnimateHer, and my co-host here is the Pants Ninja. Hey, a raid is a raid. Doesn't matter if it's a one-man raid or a million-man raid. A raid is a raid, and I greatly appreciate it, Dark. Thank you very much.
Every avalanche starts with a single snowflake.
Exactly. See, that's a great thing there. We'll answer that question. What is your top 3 Bill Murray films?
Oh, well, I'm going to throw Ghostbusters in. Scrooged, I think, was a great one.
Scrooge is a good one.
I watch it every year. I have to. Now, this is where it gets hard picking 3, because I like Stripes,
Yes.
know.
Stripes is great.
Groundhog Day, for what it was at the time, was fun. I'm going to go with Lost in Translation, because I really love that movie. I don't care. I like it.
Yeah, I love Bill Murray. Zombieland is up there with me with Bill Murray.
Sure, yeah.
I like Zombieland with Bill Murray. Love the Ghostbusters. Stripes is one of I watched Stripes as a young person back in the day. Hello, Zach. How are you? EXO, hello. But yeah, I love The Dead Don't. That new one with Bill Murray in it with zombies. The Dead.
I don't know if I've seen it.
Hold on, let me Google it.
Yeah, sure.
There is a movie, The Dead, with Bill Murray. The Dead Don't Die.
Oh, The Dead Don't Die.
Yep,
Okay.
The Dead Don't Die. Thanks, Riggs. I just found it as well. The Dead Don't Die. It's not a huge blockbuster hit, but I like it because it has a few awesome people in it, great actors in it, and I like the comedy value of it. Yes, he had a great cameo in Zombieland. Yes, he did.
Oh, that was, yeah. Zombieland was fun. I mean, I liked it.
Yeah. Double Tap wasn't bad at all. I mean, it's not as good as the first one, but usually sequels aren't as good as the first film.
I'll tell you the truth, haven't seen it yet. I've been saving it. I have a habit of doing that with stuff. Like when I know it's the last one of something, I will wait forever to watch it.
Yeah. The Dead Don't Die it's not, like I said, it's not a blockbuster, but it's a fun film. I found it to be fun. The guy who plays Kylo Ren is in it. I don't know his name, but he's in it, and Bill Murray. Mm-hmm. And there's another lady, I can't remember her name, where the comedy value is good. I that's what I liked about it. Oh, you thought it was dumb? I thought it was fun. I knew going in it wasn't a blockbuster. I just thought it was fun. Oh, there is have you seen Only Murders? Crap, it's a TV show with Steve Martin. Oh God, what's his name? Selena Gomez is in it. Hello, Necro. How are you? And Martin Sheen. Yes. Steve Martin, Martin Sheen, and Selena Gomez. It is the Only Murders
in the Building?
Yes. The Only Murders in the Building. They do If you can find it online, watch it. It is so fun. It is about a podcast that accidentally is created about the murder that happened in their building. And thank you for the follow, Dark Tomet. Thank you very, very much. Welcome to the Crypt.
Yeah, hi everybody in chat.
This is my co-host, the Pants Ninja. I'm going to give you the links to the Pants Ninja. He also cosplays and runs the parody account for Dr. Herbert West over on Twitter.
I toy around with things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's funny how that happened.
Yeah, tell us about how did you become part of the parody group on Twitter?
It all started with like when the pandemic started happening. Okay. I wasn't big on Twitter. Most of my social medias were Facebook, as I mentioned before, but I was watching a lot of movies and I saw Joe Bob Briggs, The Last Drive-In, start popping up again. Right.
Yep.
So I subscribed to Shudder, got into that scene, and through these, I met the Mutant Fan people and all these different people, and I saw parody accounts running around too, and I'm like, what is this nonsense? You know? And I'm like, I started talking to some of them, and then I got in this little parody writing group, as they called it. And I'm like laid off for like 3 months of work, so I'm like, well, what else am I doing, right? I'm like, let's pick somebody. And I was a big fan of like Frankenstein, Dr. Frankenstein, Dr. West, anything with like reanimating dead, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, let's start a parody account here. And we used to like write these little stories with the different characters and these whole universes and stuff. And I like writing. I like stories. I like being creative. So it was a good way to like keep myself sane. And it just turned into this whole, I started dressing up like him once in a while, doing little videos once in a while. And I'm going to shout out Stabby Time TV.
Yes, Stabby.
Stabby's my dude. Like I started getting to know him a little bit and saw what he was doing with Michael. And I'm like, this is brilliant. Like, and it just started this whole thing. And now it's like people want me to write stories again and stuff. And I'm like, well, I don't know what I want to do with it yet. So it's just my fan account for this,
Right. Stabby is awesome. I love Stabby. He's great. Have you seen The Merkins?
Oh, actually, I got to know, starting to get to know Roy pretty good.
Roy is awesome.
I hopped on, played some Dead by Daylight with him a while back. We talk like once in a while when I show up to the chat. He's a hell of a nice guy. But yeah, I'm very familiar with the Merkins. I'm trying to get Roy for an interview here again soon. Like, I'd like to get him over.
Busy.
Yeah,
He's great to have on the show, though. Like, let me tell you, he is awesome. He is exactly the way he is on his live stream. Random Roy or Rave Roy. Great guy, great community. The Merkins fam is really awesome.
Great people.
Love what they do, and all of their films are fan funded. They lots of people. They have a Patreon page that you can go to and support them, which goes towards their films, right? Their videos that they create. And if you don't know who the Merkins are, right there are the links. Serial Killer, good morning, good morning. Oh, thank you, Monkey. That's awesome. Your mom loves it. But yeah, like Lament Butterfly is from the Merkins. It's Mr. Scott Reacts. It's from the Merkins family that and actually Lament Butterfly, aka Pixie, she's one of the lyricists for the Merkins. I lucked out to get Roy on the show because I hit him up early in the year, back in like April, where he wasn't as busy as he was towards the later of the year. Usually the fall is a very busy time for Roy. So if that helps you try to get him onto your show, try to hit him up earlier in the year. So
yeah, for sure.
In 2022.
And Lament, I did not carry your butt in that game. You were saving my ass. What are you talking about? Playing some Dead by Daylight with them guys is... I'm not good. I just like to play things. It's fun.
Yeah, I watched him play last night. Roy was playing the Halloween fan game, which I think I want to try to play. Because he started off with the Halloween fan game and then went into Dead by Daylight. I was there lurking in the stream, which is always a good time. Always a good time. We do have a question from Mr. Ake OG. Mr. Ninja, do you have a favorite horror book? Also, a lot of people, including myself, have had some like ghostly experiences and such. Have you had any that you are willing to share?
Well, favorite horror book. I'm going to go back in the day. One of the first ones I got into was R.L. Stine Hit and Run.
R.L. Stine, yes.
yeah, like back in the day, you know. I don't know. I don't really get a lot of chances to read hard books, and most of the stuff I read is like philosophy, and like how to do stuff. And I was into the Dark Tower series. I love The Stand, like Stephen King, The Stand. I thought people have mixed feelings about it, but I like the story, you know. That was one of the biggest ones I got into, I'd say.
Nice.
Regarding paranormal experiences, like, I supposedly live in one of the most haunted towns in the States, okay? I'm not going to get into all this stuff, right? But it's a Civil War town. I've never experienced anything paranormal. I haven't. Like, I look at stuff like from a scientific manner, like,
yeah,
everything can be explained. But I am open to the idea. Definitely open to the idea.
Well, I do like the paranormal myself. I do have experiences with the paranormal. We're all made up of energy, right? And when we die, that energy goes somewhere. It just doesn't die. It doesn't stay in the body. The energy does go somewhere. And science has proven that we are made up of energy. And so I can see some stuff, energy being left behind and not going to the next realm.
I felt things. Like, I felt certain things inside of me that I can't explain. But regarding like anything with ghosts, sorry, I've totally told myself I wasn't going to smoke today, but I'm getting one in.
Go for it.
I can't say that I've experienced much else, but like you said, energy. We're all made of energy. Energy doesn't die; it gets transferred. I've been preaching that for years. I wouldn't mind having an experience just to see something, you know, different.
Well, a lot of people don't realize that a paranormal experience doesn't necessarily have to be a ghost. You could be sitting in your room and let's just say a passing of a grandmother, because that's what happens to me. My grandmother passed away in 2020 in another country. And when I was in my bedroom, she wears a perfume that I do not have and I have not seen here. And I was able to smell that perfume in my room, which is so fucking weird to me. And that's also could be a paranormal experience as well. Let me just do this quick shout out to Blue Suede Haze. Blue, thank you so very much for sacrificing a soul to the Horde. I greatly appreciate it. I hope you're doing well, Blue. Mwah. Thank you.
Sacrifice all the souls today, guys. Come on, help her out.
All right. Give me them all. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. I agree with you, Lament. Hello, Sprained. How are you? Blue, how are you doing? We have several questions now.
I'm all about it. Bring it. Anything you guys want to ask I'll let you know if it's too far.
Exactly. If you guys have a question, please tag me in that question so I can copy and paste it and I put it in a notepad, because sometimes we go off on rambles and I don't want to miss your question. So we have one from Big Wild Blue 97. Pants Ninja, did you ever watch the Friday the 13th, the series, where two cousins inherit the antique store to track down cursed objects, where their Uncle Louis made deal with the devil? It ran from 87 to 1990. It starred Louis Robbie, John D. LeMay, and Chris Wiggins.
I own the box set
Nice.
over here. I was going to pull it down. I found it at Walmart one day. Yeah, I love the series.
That's awesome.
In fact, there's very few people I find that actually remember much about this.
Yeah.
All the haunted artifacts
I like Friday the 13th series.
Oh, I wish okay, I'm going to go back. They should reboot that series. That's what they should do. I'm down with that. Hell yeah, I love that show.
Yes. I love shows like that. Friday the 13th series, I enjoyed that series. Serial was bringing out Freddie's Nightmares, which was a TV series as well that went on and hard to find.
You can find bits and pieces, and that's about it.
Bits and pieces, yes, you can. I liked them all.
Oh yeah.
And then Supernatural, really, I just started getting into the Supernatural thing well after it's been off the show. So I was one of the late bloomers for Supernatural. I fucking love that show. I'm on season 10 now.
Oh, I haven't watched it yet. It's on my list of things.
Oh, dude, get through the first. Yeah. Get through the first 2 seasons. That's what's told to me. Get through the first 2 seasons and then try to get through the whiny bitch male shit that they do. Like, there's a lot of whiny bitch shit
all right.
that I didn't care for. Wow. You hurt my feelings. Wow. You hurt my feelings. Go back and forth. But if you can get past that. Hello, Native 420, honey. How are you?
I'll try. I will try my best. It's on my, like I said, it's on my list. I'll at least try to get through the first season. I have some time coming off from work. Like, I'm a full-time chef for like 20 some years now, professional chef, whatever.
Nice.
Keeps me busy.
Yeah, no, definitely. We have another question here from Necromangia. Did you like the recent HBO miniseries, The Stand? Have you seen it yet?
The only one I've seen was the one from back in the day. Haven't watched the new one yet. I think I had HBO Max, but I canceled a bunch of subscription services because I just don't have time to watch stuff. I'm just wasting money. But I would like to see it. I really would. It's once again on the list. I have a list of like 200 things I have to watch.
Oh,
so hopefully,
I'm the same way. I am the same way. I have a ginormous list of must watch.
It's good. It's a good thing to have.
It definitely is, and I have not seen the Stand miniseries. I have seen the Stand from back in the day. That was like a 4-hour movie. I own it on DVD. I thought that was amazing. I have no idea. I see that Eric Northman from True Blood is in the Stand, which I love him. But the Stand is on my list as well. And
hell yeah.
We have a question from the Mad Metal Man. Pant and ReAnimateHer, do you read classic literature? And if so, favorite book?
I'm going to revert back to my earlier statement. Not a lot of time to read things. But I wouldn't say classic literature. Like, I'm a big fan of the Hagakure, the Code of the Samurai book. Way blah, blah, blah is death, whatever. I like Asian philosophy stuff. I really do. Like, from Sun Tzu to, all back with a lot of that stuff. Lao Tzu. I big into philosophy stuff. I'll say that.
Nice.
So best I got, brother.
I don't read a lot either. Reading makes me tired, so I usually just read when I have insomnia. I do like my comic books, but my horror comic books. So I read like Army of Darkness, Elvira, and then of course I have this comic book, the ReAnimateHer. World of Cthulhu, The Eternal Life.
Ooh,
so
I need some of that.
Yeah, so since you like to play Dr. Herbert West and you like ReAnimateHer, so here is a couple
Let's
of
check this out.
my comic books that I have. These are fan made too. So the ReAnimateHer World of Cthulhu, and then we have Vampirella with Dr. Herbert West. So hard to see my lights, but this one here is again the ReAnimateHer World of Cthulhu, and then we've got the other one. Very very H.P. Lovecraft. They tried to stay with how H.P. wrote Dr. Herbert West, and then the other one, The Eternal Life, is this one here of Herbert West.
Yeah, well, I've seen that one before. That last one.
Yeah, it's a series. I know they're doing more with it. I friggin' love it. It's exactly what I read. I read a lot of true crime and serial killer stuff. So I have read American Psycho, which is one of my favorite novels to read. I wouldn't call it classical literature, but I read stuff like On the Son of Sam, true crime. And that's usually when I am laying in bed and I can't sleep. That's when I get my reading time in. Other than that, I'm too friggin' busy to sit down and read.
I feel like I said, I have a little break coming up. I'm going to try to catch up on some of these things. So I definitely need to get some links to that comic series right there.
I will definitely get you the links to that.
Hell yeah.
I love my horror comic books. So now, Lament Butterfly was like, can you ask him what his thoughts are upon the Dong Saw? So you probably haven't heard about the Dong Saw.
The Dong Song?
The Dong Saw. It's basically it's a penis-shaped machete.
Oh.
And it's coming to we have plans to actually create it, but Lament, what we were just talking about it in the chat here. So she wanted me to ask you about it. What are your thoughts on a dong saw? So basically, think of Jason's machete. Sure. Okay. But in the shape of a penis with some like razorbacks on the side, on the other side of it. So you've got the machete. It comes up. Hold on. Here, you got the machete, right? So here's the handle. And this part here would be in the shape of a penis. It would be the head. You'd probably have some, balls, and then it would be like razor up here. So it would be the dong saw.
I guarantee you no one will see it coming. Jokes. We got him.
Oh, we got him.
I'm in. Let's make it happen.
We're actually in the process of making one. My better half, heavy metal. He's probably still sleeping. I don't know. I have a big mouth, so he's probably not. Creates these for me. These are metal cocks. So he makes these for me that we paint and we send to our friends.
Perfect for the holidays, guys.
Very perfect for the holidays. Blues is actually going to be sent out this week. Blue Suede Haze, we just finally have everything completed. But yeah, I have 3 crazy true crime books. Oh, definitely Lament. Recommend them. I love true crime. Well, we can use Milo's cock for the tongue, so we would have to.
Oh, these are my kind of people. I gotta say, I love this crowd. You guys are awesome. Yeah,
like I said, we're an 18 plus. We don't cater to children, so usually children aren't. Thank God, children aren't watching this stream. Because we are very 18. Like I said earlier, there's nothing you can't talk about here. Every time I have guests on the show, they're like, "Oh, can I curse?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, you can curse."
Fuck yeah.
Exactly.
If I wasn't so sleepy today, I'd probably be cursing up a storm, guaranteed. But we'll save that for another show. Trust me.
For sure. 420 Adrian wants to know, what is your thoughts? Have you seen the Child's Play series yet, and what are your thoughts?
I haven't seen it yet. It's Sci-Fi, right? Sci-Fi put that out?
Sci-Fi did put it out, yes.
Okay.
And I think USA, and is it another American TV show, but we don't get here that channel.
Right. I'll say I have a friend, Hot Heart Queen, over on Twitter. Shout out to her. She talks about it with me a few times, said it's worth watching. I wouldn't mind seeing it. The original movies. Right. Okay. The original movies, I was a fan of the first 3. I watched I think I watched Bride of Chucky. I remember that one. I remember a few of them, but
Love
after
Bride of
us,
Chucky.
yeah, like it's
Jennifer
fun.
Tilly?
It got Jennifer. Oh my God, back in the day.
Love
Whew,
her.
let me tell you. Anyways, yeah, like Chucky. Actually, I remember being in like 9th grade, like or 7th grade, and this honors English writing class at school, and I remember watching Child's Play and writing this story about a killer doll thing in class because of Chucky. I love the idea of the whole voodoo ritual thing. It was fun, you know. And then they got camping and fun, and that's the kind of that's my bag. But long story short, I hope to watch it some point. I do. I'd like to check it out.
It's definitely worth it. The original director for Child's Play is directing this one.
Okay.
They're using animatronics and not CGI for Chucky. Brad Dourif is playing Chucky. He is Chucky.
Oh,
I mean, that's where the remake fucked up on a few things. They should have never called it a remake. They should have named it something else. And I think the movie would have done way better than it did. Because when you see Child's Play, you think of Chucky and the way he looks and the voice of Brad Dourif, who is Chucky. In the series, they do that. And I like the series. I think it's a lot of fun. And you will definitely enjoy it. Thank you, Vampy, for the Tiggle Bitties. Hi, how are you? Let me just see here. ReAnimateHer, if you ever need stuff, y'all me's can't get up in Canadian land, let me know. My husband-shaped object can burn stuff for you. Really, Lament? Thank you very much. And thank you, Blue Suede Haze, for sacrificing the soul of Vampy to the Horde. I appreciate it. You need to see all the Chucky movies for what's the last Chucky movie? The Curse of Chucky?
Yeah,
if you haven't seen The Curse of Chucky, definitely watch that. You don't have to watch the whole series, but definitely watch The Curse of Chucky, because I think that's where the story actually leads off of. And you're going to see some people from the past. You'll see Jennifer Tilly. You'll actually see what in the recent episode. You'll also see the chick from The Curse of Chucky. So definitely watch the last one. If you're not going to watch them all, definitely watch that one. Then you can kind of have an idea of those people. But we do have a question from the Mad Metal Man for both of us. Favorite horror movie soundtrack?
First two that come to mind here: Return of the Living Dead and Demons.
Demons is great. So is Return of the Living Dead. I'm gonna have to say The Thing.
Ooh, The Thing's a good one.
Event Horizon.
Ooh, nice.
Event Horizon is one of my favorite. Prometheus is one of my I love horror sci-fi, so Alien and anything in the Alien universe, I fucking love it. But yeah,
respect.
There's so many awesome soundtracks out there. You've got so many. But The Thing is on top of one of my favorites.
You know, I'm going to have to see if I can find this real quick. I'm going to get up for just a second.
Yeah, go for it.
So the reason I say this is because we got a Demons vinyl right here.
Nice.
That's one of them. And I have the Return of the Living Dead down there too. But those two, like, I don't know, something about those soundtracks, just, they're so much fun, especially Demons, I think, is underrated.
Demons is an underrated film. Definitely. I have Tales from the Crypt album vinyl up there, and Elvira's The Haunted Hills album up there as well.
Hell yeah.
Definitely. Queen of the Dam, you thought was a shitty movie? I fucking loved Queen of the Dam. I thought it was a great fucking film.
Jeez, that's a throwback.
Yeah, I would. Queen of the Dam soundtrack is awesome. RE soundtrack is good. I really love the film Queen of the Damned. But I do have another question for you from a serial killer. We always ask questions in this one. Who would win in a fight, Jason Voorhees or Michael Myers?
Voorhees, no question.
Thank you.
I'm a mama's boy at heart. Like, I really am. Jason is my dude. Like,
Jason is my dude as well.
Hell yeah. Virtual high five to you.
ReAnimateHer, can you ask Ninja what is his favorite death metal album from the 88 to 93? And that's coming from the Lament Butterfly.
I'm terrible at dates. Death metal, though.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember a lot of death metal from back then that stuck with me personally. I will say I like Judas Priest stuff. I like I got into metal more in the 90s, like when I get a little like my teenage years, we get that angst and we start getting into a lot longer, the harder stuff. I'll just name off like Rammstein I'm big into, I love Rammstein. I absolutely love Rammstein. Judas Priest. I was big into like some of the old Metallica stuff. So it's not death metal, and it's hard to even say that they're metal anymore at all. But probably that's a hard question. That's a great one. I have to think really hard on this. I got into a little bit of Cannibal Corpse. That I think Mad Metal Man's better at that kind of stuff than I am. Shout out to him again.
Bolt Thrower. You've got Carcass. Cannibal Corpse is another really good one. Obituary. If anybody remembers Obituary.
I think I remember vaguely Obituary. Oh man, death metal. Whew. we can talk music for like 2 hours. I'm down with that. Jeez, music's
ahead of
passion.
Tomb, Metallica is good. Old Metallica. It wouldn't be called death metal.
Yeah, it wouldn't be death metal. That's the thing. Like everything's so genred and subgenred and labeled in this and that and the other. Like, what's punk music anymore? Really? We don't have the Misfits anymore. The old school Misfits. We don't have like Sex Pistols, anything like that anymore.
Right. I loved Obituary. Obituary was a group that I constantly listened to back in the day. Typo Negative is not death metal, but Typo Negative was another band that I listened to way back in the day. I still love Typo Negative. Elias, thank you for the host, love. But yes, that's serial killer, and mine. I would say Jason, because it would be a good fight between Michael and Jason though.
Oh yeah. I know there's a couple fan films out there on YouTube that I found.
There's a really good one between Jason and Michael. It's about 30 minutes long, and neither of them actually win. They both they both walk away, bruised ego and injured. But I don't think either of them would actually win. It would be a fight that would constantly go on.
Well, that's something I want to ask you. Like, how'd you feel about the Freddie versus Jason stuff?
I actually enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed Jason vs. Freddie. I really wish Kane Hodder was able to play the role of Jason. But I thought it was an overall good film. I love the one kill. My favorite kill out of that part is the boyfriend being folded up into that bed. That's like, I think it's one of the first kills in the movie. I don't remember exactly the order. It's early on. It is early on in the film, and that is one of my favorite kills. I enjoyed the storyline. I still say Jason won because he actually beheaded Freddie, and Freddie wasn't sitting there, with his whole body attached.
I'll give you that too. That's one I wouldn't mind seeing another one. Like Robert Englund's getting a little old to do these things, I feel like, though.
But the problem is that there's nobody that can play Freddy Krueger. The thing they tried and they failed miserably. It's not just a man in a mask. You have to have his body language, his comedic value that he gave to Freddy. I don't know. It's going to be very hard to find somebody that could actually play that role properly. Jason, same thing. Jason and Michael, they can be played by almost anybody, and I say almost because they also bring their own touches to the character, even though they're masked. You can definitely tell it's not Jason, especially when you watch 2009 Friday the 13th. You can look at the body language in it alone. And for me, Kane Hodder and C.J. Graham, they're two of my favorites who played Jason.
I love Kane Hodder. And you mentioned like the Friday the 13th remake there, or the reboot they were trying to do. Not a fan, or what? How do you feel about that one?
I didn't really care for it. It's not horrible like Manhattan to me is. It's okay. Jason for me doesn't make noises. I can see Friday the 13th, 2009 with Derek Mears was geared toward the millennials. and you can see that in that film. It was okay. My least favorite in the entire franchise is Manhattan. I mean, Manhattan had some cool kills. Jason looked really awesome in it, but Jason is a murderer. He murders everybody he sees. And in Manhattan, he failed to murder numerous fucking people. You're going to tell me that Jason is going to kick the stereo of a couple of punks on the street and he's not going to rip their fucking heads off?
I feel you.
No.
And that's a big point. Like, you let Jason loose in a big city, everyone's dead. I don't know why he's not killing the entire city. I feel that 120%. I'll say personally, I kind of like the remake idea of Jason being a survivalist type thing. I think that would have fit for like a 1-2 kind of deal, but then, you know, he turns into zombie Jason later on, and that's all well and good. You know, I like the idea of it. But worst Jason movie. I don't know. Jason Goes to Hell was kind of rough for me. That was kind of rough.
I don't like the fact they turned Jason into a worm. Nasty maggot thing. I didn't like that either. But it's still not the worst one in the franchise for me.
Oh, we can all agree though. Jason X was excellent. I don't care what anyone says. I love
Jason X.
So much fun.
Very fun, and the mask that he comes out with after he gets put back together by those nano things. Yeah.
Who wouldn't want a cyborg Jason? Like, come on.
Nice, Lament. And yes, so Jason did make some noises in the other ones, but they were very noticeable in 2009. I think they were very noticeable in 2009. Where in part 3 and the other one, I didn't really notice them as much. Do you? That is so funny. Lament Butterfly loathes and despises those. Jason X had my 2 favorite, Andromeda. I don't know what the cast members in it. Oh, never seen that. That's a show, Monkey. Andromeda, that's it. Andromeda. I had to really read that. You like Jason X because it gives Jason the biggest kill streak? Yeah, ain't nobody beating Jason's kill. I don't care if Michael comes out with Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. Bullshit. Who gives a fuck? Jason X took out Solaris, took out the entire fucking space stations. And you heard it from the writer himself, Todd Farmer, who wrote Jason X.
I'll say I liked Halloween Kills for what it was. I didn't expect much. I just want to, Michael Anthony Hall there, Michael, whatever, what is that his name? Dude from Weird Science, being Tommy Doyle. I thought that was fun. Yes. I liked that.
And Halloween Kills?
Yeah. I think, wasn't that Halloween Kills?
Yeah. Halloween Kills. You have them, Tommy Doyle and the girl from the first one, 78, in there. Halloween Kills for me is an exact ripoff of Halloween 2.
It is.
It's an exact. There is nothing new. It's an exact ripoff with a bigger fire scene, because we had the fire scene in the hospital. Remember how that whole thing goes at the end? Mm-hmm. You have that exact same thing happening, but at Jamie Lee Curtis's house, Laurie Strode. Laurie did nothing in Halloween Kills because she sat in the hospital. Exactly what she did in Halloween Part 2. Everything was the same. Even the mobbing was the same because Ben Tramer. Look at Tramer, right? So Halloween Kills is an exact ripoff of Halloween Part 2, even though Halloween Kills is supposed to be a direct sequel to 78 or whatever. I'm not a huge fan of the new Halloweens. I disliked Halloween 2018. I thought it was a hot pile of shit. I will give Halloween Kills a 6 for me out of 10, and that's the reason being is I really enjoyed the fire and this. I enjoyed the murderous scenes in Halloween Kills, and I don't know how you're going to kill Halloween next year. So because you can't kill Michael Myers.
No, and that's the whole Michael Myers thing. I don't know. I don't want to get too deep into this stuff, but I take these remakes and reboots and whatever they are just as okay, whatever. I mean, if you can watch Leprechaun in Space, I can watch anything else. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I watch them. I'm not going to say they're my favorites, and I will buy them and put them in my collection because I do that with everything. I have my collection of movies, and I will buy them and put them in. But they're not ones that I will turn on and watch over and over. Just like with 78, Halloween 1 and Halloween 2, I watch as one full movie. Halloween 3 is one of my favorites. And I can watch those over and over and over and over and over. It doesn't matter. I can watch them 50 times in a year, if not more. Same thing with Friday the 13th. Halloween Kills and Halloween 2018, there's no way I'd watch them once and get thrown into the thing.
They get thrown in the pile. And like you said, Halloween 3, I feel like is fantastic. It's a fun story. It's those masks are great. I don't care what anyone says.
The masks are awesome. I like the masks. I like the evolution of Michael's masks.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes, I agree with you about the monsters. I'm not overly excited. I'm not, you know what? I like Rob Zombie. I am a fan of Rob Zombie. I enjoy his music. I enjoy some of his movies, not all of his movies. I would be more excited for Rob Zombie's The Monsters if it didn't star his wife. I don't believe, in my opinion, and this is my opinion alone, she will be a good Lily Munster, but that's just me. Yeah, that's my thoughts on that one.
That's a hot topic. That's been coming up a lot in my little conversations.
Yeah, I do like Rob Zombie, though. I loved Devil's Rejects, House of a Thousand Corpses, two of my favorites. I feel that he got a little lazy in 31. Salem I liked Salem. I thought it was like the very season of The Witch, number 3 of Halloween. So I did like Salem. I did like his take on Michael Myers, like his violence take on Michael Myers. When it came to 1, 2 was a little crazy. Right. But yeah. I feel that, I mean, it's great that he stars his wife. He loves his wife. I understand that. And I think it's great that he has her in the movies. But I do feel that there are better actresses for specific roles instead of having your wife in it. But if he makes these movies just for his wife, right? That's how I look at it.
I feel that. I'm not sure how I feel about the Munsters.
Yeah.
But I think I'm a Rob Zombie fan too, musically, and yeah, I liked House of a Thousand Corpses, that whole thing, all those, the whole trilogy, whatever it is. The third one I felt bad because I felt like he had that part written for Sig, and like
a lot of shit
he passed
changed
away.
in 3 from Hell. 3 from Hell wasn't horrible, but I think if Sid would not have passed away, I think it would have been way better, because he did have a lot of roles for Sid that he had to last minute kind of like change up.
Yeah, it's sad, but I'll watch the Munsters and I'll give everyone opinions at some point in the future.
Yeah, I agree with you, Metal Man. If it ends up being rated R, the Munsters were never dark. They always had a positive message within the Addams Family and the Munsters, and I grew up on both. I grew up reading the comic because my grandmother still had the comics that she saved when the Addams Family was originally created, before it was ever a cartoon, before it was ever a TV show. And I do like what they did with the Addams Family with Raul Julia. I haven't really seen any of the animated stuff, but the Munsters, it was never overly dark. It was a positive, happy kind of feel to it, and always had a good message in each of their episodes. I own the Munsters. I'm not going to be impressed if it's a rated R thing.
I agree with that. I definitely have to say that. And the positive message, definitely.
Always had a positive message. There was always a positive message with the Munsters and the Addams Family.
Yeah. Let's talk about Tim Curry as Gomez for a minute, though. Do you remember that stuff?
Yes.
I feel like that doesn't get much attention, which is fine, whatever. The original series, though, always sells it for me. The positive messages, the campy, goofy fun.
Yeah.
I feel if Rob Zombie sticks with that for the Munsters, I'm cool. Definitely.
I don't know. I don't know. I seen Grandpa now has like a mustache and beard kind of thing going on. Herman Munster looks okay. But again, like I said, I think he makes these movies for his wife. That's what I think. I think he takes some of the stuff that she really enjoys and creates it for her. So these movies are for her. I don't think these movies are for fans like us. Right. That's what I think. I agree with you, Lament. She wasn't terrible in Lords of Salem. I actually enjoyed Lords of Salem. It is weird. I enjoyed it. Same thing. When Season of the Witch came out for Halloween, people were losing their shit and actually walked out of the movie theater because Michael Myers wasn't in it. But little do they know is that the original Halloween in John Carpenter's mind was to have each Halloween different, an anthology. And so he finally was able to do that with Tommy Wallace in Season of the Witch. They were great for being yourself and not to follow the norm. Exactly, gamer.
That I feel like that was the whole message of the show is, first off, don't judge a book by its cover and be yourself.
Just because they look monstrosity and they could be kind of scary looking doesn't mean that they're mean or evil. Being different is not bad. That's what as I was growing up, from what I watched when I was younger, being different wasn't a bad thing if you were different. And that's how I always seen the messages from the monsters or the Addams family, because they were completely unnormal. They were not your normal, like, Leave It to Beaver, right? They weren't your normal, family with the white picket fence and the dog and all that, right?
Exactly. And it's funny you said Leave It to Beaver. Now I got that that little, like, Ward's been awful hard on the beaver today, let me tell you.
Yeah, my husband has a shirt that is like that.
That's hilarious. I like him already.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think his wife needs to be in everything. But again, I think he makes his movies for his wife. I don't believe he makes it for anything other than being a fan. I'm not going to say he's a shitty person or whatever. I really enjoy some of his films. I'm going to be on the fence, like I said, with the monsters. If it's rated R and there's a lot of sex in it or a lot of, like, showing her ass or tits off in it, I'm going to be fucking pissed. Because Lily Munster did not whore herself out.
Very classy.
Movies back then and TV shows back then, that's what it was about. They never showed a bed scene with Lily Munster or the Addams family, and they did once in The Munsters. They showed Lily and Herman laying in bed, and that was super taboo back then when the show came out. They actually had people write in and complain about that scene, that episode. It was always about the class and style. When she wore her dresses and you seen her, she didn't have cleavage that came out to here. She didn't show off her body. And I'm hoping they keep that wholesome kind of look, classic look to Lily Munster. I'm hoping, because every time I see Sherry Moon Zombie, something's hanging out. I mean, she's not a horrible looking woman. I think she's a beautiful woman. And I think she plays certain roles really well. I don't know about this one. I'm on the fence. And no, Big Wild, I do not watch Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
I remember the old show.
I remember the old show, exactly. I like that one. The Munsters was wholesome and sweet, yes. Yvonne DiCarlo, yes, she was. She was a gorgeous woman. Gorgeous woman, lots of class. Sherry has an ass that's named Rob.
Ba-dum-bum.
Right. But I do like Rob Zombie. I like Sherry Moon Zombie. She plays a really good psycho. She has an awesome laugh. I like the way she portrays Baby Firefly. I do. I love the way she portrays her.
Yeah, I think you were right there. You were onto something with. I don't know if he's making it for the fans so much as himself and his wife.
That's what I think he makes the movies.
Yeah.
He has the ability to do it, so why not? I don't blame him for that, though, either. But again, when you're doing iconic films or TV shows and turning it into a film, I think you really need to be careful.
I concur.
Monsters, that is a iconic classic. Iconic classic. Now, his films, House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, Three from Hell, these are all original stories from himself. And he's a huge horror fan as well. He's not someone who just is creating horror just to make a buck. He is a horror fan. He enjoys making horror, and you can see in his videos and his own music. Again, I think those films he makes for them. The remakes of Halloween, I believe, was for him and his wife.
I think definitely.
No, I haven't read them, Monkey. Not at all. No, Gamer. Serial was on a hiatus for a little bit, but he is coming back in December. If you're a part of the Maniacs Discord, if I can get the Maniacs Discord in chat, please, that would be awesome. Thank you. If you're a part of his Discord, there's an announcement in there of serial killers. Also, while we're doing that, can I get a shout out for Blue Suede Hayes? She's one of my favorite content creators that I don't ever get to watch live anymore, but I get to sneak peeks and clips and things like that. Hello, Reaper. How are you? Afraid of the Dark? Yeah, Afraid of the Dark was one of my things growing up. I don't know about you, Pants Ninja. Did you grow up on that?
I remember the show. I remember a lot of like Nickelodeon from back then.
Yeah, Red Nickelodeon was good.
I was just having a conversation about Nicktoons and all the early '90s stuff, like with Doug, Ren and Stimpy, Rugrats, things of that nature.
Those were good back in the day. I mean, I was a lot older when those came out, so I had kids by then. I'm a lot older than you actually think I am. I had kids when Rugrats came out, and so they would watch those shows, and I would also catch them. I enjoyed them.
I was definitely, like I said, so we're looking at like 10, 12 around that age for me. So I was right about the time that I was into animation too. So I would watch like everything under the sun regarding that, and Ren and Stimpy, Beavis and Butthead were my shit back in the day.
Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah, yes. For sure. Huh.
Love those guys.
I remember the biggest thing for Nickelodeon for me was when I watched You Can't Do That on Television.
That was so much fun watching adults getting slimed too.
Yeah. That was a great time. A lot of good memories.
Right? Hi, Dusty Balls. You love Ren and I love the Adventures of Pete and Pete on Nick and Ren and Stimpy. Yeah, those were great. Back in the day, on normal television, we would have after-school specials. After you remember those after-school specials? I totally do. We would have them all the time. Those were always fun.
So, I see My Pet Monster. I want to give a shout out to that. That was great.
I love My Pet Monster. I don't have one anymore, but I did have one.
Oh, we used to have one. We bought at some yard sale years back, but I have no idea.
Awesome.
I say we, as in my brother and I, when we were kids.
Right.
I'm still looking for one. I want the handcuffs again, you know?
Yeah. A quick little interruption. Blue, awesome. Have a great sleep. Thank you so much for coming in here and sacrificing souls. I greatly appreciate it. I hope you have a great sleep. Bulletproof Beard coming in with a raid. Welcome, Bulletproof. Sorry, I don't have my raid screen today, and we are having an interview with the Pants Ninja, also aka Dr. Herbert West. Thank you so much for the raid. I greatly appreciate it. And for those of you who are joining me, I am ReAnimateHer. This is Coffee Chat of Horrors, and my co-host is the Pants Ninja.
What up, guys?
My favorite, hello Mayhem, how are you? Courage the Cowardly Dog, that is a cute one. I enjoyed that show as well. My favorite cartoons growing up, Scooby-Doo was my numero uno. Dungeons and Dragons, if you guys remember that cartoon from way back in the day, Dungeons and Dragons was one of my favorites. I know, Riggs, I was trying to get the words out, but the brain and the tongue weren't talking together.
More coffee is needed, stat.
More coffee. And that's why I have this. It's filled with coffee. Hi, it's Bald. Hi, how you doing? Bald Vagina. This is my co-host, the Pants Ninja. And you have D&D on DVD. That's awesome. Dungeons and Dragons was a cartoon that I grew up with. Same thing with the Smurfs, but my favorites were Scooby-Doo, Dungeons and Dragons. I would never miss those. G.I. Joe and Transformers. Now, I'm not a huge fan like my husband is. Heavy is a huge Transformers fan and G.I. Joe. But I love those, and I love those cartoons growing up. Saturday morning cartoons was where it was at for me. Me and my sister would wake up. Our parents would still be sleeping. We would turn on the TV with our bowls of cereal and sit there and watch the Smurfs, Scooby-Doo, Dungeons and Dragons, Transformers. It was a great fucking time back then. What are some of your favorites, Pants Ninja?
Oh, get me started. Okay. Well, the big one for me was Masters of the Universe, He-Man. I was a huge He-Man fan back in the day. I still have a bunch of the collectibles up at packed up my folks' house up the way. But yeah, G.I. Joe was a big one. Transformers, you've mentioned. I I liked Camp Candy with John Candy back in that was a fun one. Anything with Alf, huge Alf fan.
Love Alf.
Right? I would like to see more Alf, but that's me. Geez, I'm trying to think now. What is all the stuff I used to watch? Because, like you said, we'd wake up in the morning, nobody was up, and get our cereal. Or actually, my mom would wake up sometimes like 5 in the morning and like once in a while make us breakfast. And before Saturday morning cartoons were on, we were watching like Three Stooges and stuff like that. That was a big thing. But yeah, like real Ghostbusters. I remember that. That was
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice. That was another one. I remember watching Beetlejuice on I think it was Fox at the time. And the classic cartoons like Looney Tunes, things like that.
Oh yeah, the Looney Tunes. Who didn't watch Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd? You can't watch them today. People complain about the Roadrunner and the Wile E. Coyote, and they complain about Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd. It's ridiculous. I remember watching Betty Boop back in the day as well. I know Betty Boop is going way back, but I remember watching Betty Boop on TV.
I remember seeing that, Betty Boop. I was just looking at Serial Killer mentioned Spider-Man, X-Men. They were big ones for me too. Bobby's World. I used to love Bobby's World.
Bobby's World. I don't think we received that one here, Zach. Richard Pryor's Saturday Mornings. Pryor's. I don't think we got that here in Canada.
Oh, Metal Man, Count Duckula. Yes, Count Duckula was awesome.
Count Duckula. Darkwing Duck.
Darkwing Duck.
Tailspin. Like there were really good ones. Alvin and the Chipmunks was another one. Vampy, thank you for the Tiggle Bitties. I appreciate it.
Muppet Babies. That was the other one.
Yeah.
See, I feel like animation these days is nowhere near that. They don't do the frame by frame anymore. Like.
No, and I've tried getting into the new Scooby-Doo, and I just can't. The way they draw the new Scooby-Doo, like I can't get into it. Fraggle Rock was awesome. Rescue Rangers.
Fraggle Rock.
Those are some classics, man. Classics.
I know what I'll be doing later. I'll be looking at stuff up and trying to find things. I do that sometimes.
Remember the Tales from the Crypt cartoon?
Chat, I hope you do.
Yeah, I do. Great cartoon. Right, Rip? Yeah, I don't like it either. I like those Mad Metal Man. I enjoy them. But yeah, the Tales from the Crypt Keeper. It's Tales from the Crypt Keeper was the cartoon. And you had a cartoon, The Garbage Pail Kids. I own that fucking movie too on DVD.
Oh, my heart.
And we have Garbage Pail Queen coming on the show in December, guys. So she's coming on the show December 5th.
Oh, that's awesome. She's amazing.
She is amazing.
Shout out to Garbage Pail Queen. She's popped on a bunch of my streams. We've hung out. She's good people. Good people.
Really is. Scooby-Doo. Yes. Scooby-Doo meets Kiss. I have the DVD of the Garbage Pail Kids. I seen the Garbage Pail Kids in the movie theater. In the movie theater. Yes, I'm showing my age. Glow Worm.
No. You just got like mad respect points for me, first off, for saying that.
I used to collect the cards. Those were big collectibles, and the horror cards. I don't know if you guys remember the horror cards, like with Freddy Krueger on them, Jason Voorhees, like you have them. They were just like they were tops. They were just like the baseball cards back in the day, and you open them up and you get a piece of gum. I collected those and the Garbage Pail Kids.
I was into the Garbage Pail Kids when I was a kid. I still like them. I know I was just talking to Queen about that recently. But I don't want to get too much into that. But Mad Balls was another one. I remember the Mad Balls TV show for a brief period.
Yeah. I do remember the Swamp Thing. I love Swamp Thing, the original. You have the Serial Killer card somewhere? Right on.
Swamp Thing was amazing. The show, the movies, everything. Love Swamp Thing.
Dino Riders. Thundercats were awesome invasions, definitely. I really miss the old cartoons. You can find some of them. You can find actually the Pants Ninja. You can find Tales from the Crypt Keeper on Tubi.tv.
Tubi, beautiful.
Tubi is a free streaming service that you are able to go and watch movies on, all sorts of movies. I remember the Gummy Bears and He-Man and She-Ra because She-Ra was my girl. Do you remember Jem?
Jem, yes.
Jem and Josie and the Pussycats, the cartoon, not the movie. Josie and the Pussycats, especially when they did the crossover with Scooby-Doo.
Weren't they tied in with Archie back in the day too?
They were, and I have a question for you from Monkey Van Meowerton.
Let's do it.
The Pants Ninja, have you read The Afterlife with Archie comics? And if so, what did you think of them?
I have not. I am lacking. I'm sorry. I'm boring. I wasn't big into Archie, honestly. I remember the main thing I remember is in the 80s they put out these free comic books to advertise things, and there was an Archie thing trying to sell me a computer. It was a whole comic book based on this whole computer thing. I have it over there somewhere. I can't say I have, but if it's decent, I'm willing to check things out, you know?
Yeah, it's not bad. My youngest spawn used to be a really huge Archie fan. She has some of the original little comics. She's 17 now. She'll be 18 here soon. She has comics of Archie. She has some of the original comics of Archie. She also had Garfield comics as well.
I was just looking up Tubi. I'm a big fan of Tubi. I think Tubi. I have the Tales from the Crypt Keeper thing on my list, actually. Yeah. Underneath Dark Shadows.
Dark Shadows is great. The TV show Dark Shadows was awesome. I would love to see some of these come back. Tales from the Crypt would have to have Al Katz as the Crypt Keeper in order for me to be happy. I love Outer Limits, Twilight Zone, Tales from the Dark Side. These are things that I grew up with. Love them. I didn't mind the Jordan Peele's Twilight Zone. I didn't mind it, but it didn't have the Twilight Zone feeling that I remembered. Good morning, Maeve. How are you? And thoughts on Dark Shadows with Johnny Depp? Is that the one that you're talking about? Have you seen Dark Shadows, the movie with Johnny Depp?
Absolutely love it. Absolutely, yeah. It was fun. Good take on it, I feel like. You can't compare it to the original series though, obviously, but it was good for what it was.
I really enjoyed Dark Shadows. I think Johnny Depp did a really good job as portraying his role of Barnaby. I liked the whole movie. I enjoyed the story that they used for Dark Shadows. Heavy and I actually just recently watched Dark Shadows. It's part of our Halloween watch that we have.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, love it. My husband isn't a horror fan by any means, but he loves shows like Beetlejuice and Underworld, things like that.
I can get down with that. And now that you mentioned Beetlejuice, I just remembered they were supposed to be working on a sequel or a reboot or something. You hear about this?
There was rumors. Same thing with Hocus Pocus 2, right? So for a very long time, there was rumors. Before Hocus Pocus 2 actually went into production, there was rumors for years. There was rumors for years for Beetlejuice. Michael Keaton did say way back in the day that he would reprise his role as Beetlejuice.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, Zach, that's exactly what I do. Crow? Yeah. I haven't actually looked up if there was going to be a part. I haven't looked lately if there was going to be a Beetlejuice 2, but there was supposed to be. I know rumors, people wanted it to happen, just like with Hocus Pocus 2, and I think the fans really pushed it to the production company that we want a Hocus Pocus 2, but we want the original actresses involved. That's going to be another thing.
I think that's a big part of anything. And I was just watching, not off subject, but on the mention of sequels and reboots. So watching an interview with Bruce Campbell recently. It was an old one. He was talking about Bubba Hotep, right?
Love that movie.
Right. So he was talking about the fans wanted a sequel and yada yada yada, and he's like, not everything needs a sequel. And he went on this little tangent about it, and it's a good point. You know, the fans want to remember the old times. They're stuck in this nostalgia mode because times today sometimes suck, and we want to go back to a better time, right?
Oh, for sure. That's why they recreate all of our toys. Look at the Transformer toys, G.I. Joe. They're recreating all of them to look like Gen 1s from back in the day for us because they're not targeting kids. They're targeting us. So, have you seen the Deadite documentary with Bruce Campbell?
Don't think I have.
I'm a huge Bruce Campbell fan. I love Army of Darkness, Evil Dead. I love the whole thing. I love Bruce.
Oh, yeah.
There is a documentary. It's a Deadite documentary. It's actually really good. It was created by fans, the documentary. And Bubba Hotep is getting a prequel? Really?
Oh, yeah.
Interesting. I love Bubba Hotep. I introduced
Great
Kevin
movie.
to Bubba Hotep not that long ago. It is a great movie. My Name is Bruce. I loved My Name is Bruce.
Fantastic. Absolutely.
Right? I love those types of movies like Bad Taste, Dead Alive, aka Brain Dead. Those are all great films from back in the day. And you are correct about nostalgia because those of us that grew up in that time with those cartoons and those toys, when we see them, most of us don't have them anymore unless you've actually saved them. Your parents were kind enough to save them after you moved out. Not all parents are. So when they recreate all of these toys, they're not geared towards the children of today. They're geared towards you and I because this is our childhood. And we want pieces of our childhood because some of our childhood was good.
Oh, yeah. Simpler times. I think the world today is over. And I don't know. We overcomplicate everything. Our lives, all this woke culture stuff. Everybody's so easily offended with everything. People are too sensitive.
Yeah, and their feelings are more important. That's what I find. Shows that we used to have back in the day in living color. I don't know if you're, and I know it's not a horror, but in living color.
No, huge fan.
You remember that? That was awesome. It was a great
Jim
time.
Carrey back in that time, man.
Barracosa. Firefighter Marshall Bill was his name.
Fire Marshal Bill, yep.
Fire Marshal Bill. Varricosa were two of my favorites of Jim Carrey on In Living Color.
Let me tell you something. Oh, man. I was just watching, I forget where I found the show. I found it somewhere on some website. But I was catching up on some old episodes. I'm like, man, I forget about half this stuff,
Homie the Clown, exactly. Homie, don't play that. You can't get away from, you can't do that this day and age. The Wayans brothers, like, I'm gonna get you, sucker. That was, that's an oldie. That's coming from the 80s. And I'm gonna get you, sucker. You can't do White Chicks today. You just, unfortunately, and it's sad because the Wayans have such great creative comedy within that whole family. In Living Color was created by the Wayans. I know I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker was created by the Wayans. And White Girls, Marlon, it's just Scream, Scary Movie. Sorry, Scary Movie. Like, can you get away with doing that now?
This is actually funny. We were just discussing this a little bit about independent film, and that's why we need that independent film.
We do.
We need more indie film directors bringing forth that kind of stuff. If it's all about intent and context. I feel like people just don't have they're sensitive. Everything's so up in the air. You say one thing and you're blacklisted off everything, even if you didn't mean it a certain way.
Comedy is supposed to be funny.
Right. And people, it all comes down to perception, like how somebody perceives this and perceives that, and that's on them. That's not on the creator. That's on the viewer. For being, we're not being aware of what the context was. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of great comic comedians, I should say, that would not make it today. They would be fucking canceled. Look at Dave Chappelle.
Let's talk about Sam Kinison and Carlin for a minute.
I love both of those guys,
Right?
and Andrew Dice Clay and Dennis Leary. Like, you can't. Oh, Carlin is Carlin would have so much to say about today. He wouldn't give a fuck about being canceled. He's like, take your canceled bullshit and shove it up your ass.
Right. Exactly. And that's, I feel like we need more of that.
Yeah. We do. We definitely do. And, it's just sad about the comedians from the past. Unfortunately, they are no longer with us, Carlin and Sam Kinison, which is sad. But yeah, no, definitely. Andrew Dice Clay, I believe, is still with us, but I don't think he's doing stand-up anymore.
No, not really.
Dennis
not
Leary,
really.
I don't think he's doing anything anymore either.
TV shows maybe once in a while. Bit parts of movies, I think.
I haven't seen him lately. I love The Ref. I love Dennis Leary. I love the Asshole song. That is my anthem. I love Dennis Leary. What he had the firefighter show that we just put on our watch list again because I found it.
Rescue Me, was it?
Rescue Me. The Ref is one of my favorite movies done by Dennis. Exactly, Metal Man. If you make a joke and you get offended, maybe don't view yourself as a subject of the joke. That as well.
That comes once again. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. Cannibal was talking about the gay critics from In Living Color.
Oh, yeah.
In Living Color had 2 gay critics that weren't actually gay. And they were awesome. They were great with their whole acting. That's the whole thing. It's acting. You can no longer play certain roles in movies anymore. You have to have that person play that role. You can no longer act in a movie anymore because you need someone who's gay. Oh, well, you have to get a gay actor or actress. What happens if you can't find a gay actor or actress? That means no one can play a gay part. So there goes gay people go out of movies, right? Unless you can find an actor or actress that can fit that part that is either gay or lesbian. Now, same thing with going back in the day. You have people playing roles of women who were men. You can't do that now. You get in trouble. Well, you don't get in trouble. You get the whole, woke bullshit of there are women that can play that role. Oh, shut the fuck up. Eat another fucking hot dog, Karen. Fuck off.
I think you're slowly becoming one of my favorite people, Ra. I'm just going to say this.
Oh, thank you.
No, thank you.
You're undead. Welcome. How are you? And Skull Queen, hello, good morning. How are you? I can't get along with the new outlook of my feelings are hurt on everything, and you have to have exactly those people to play those roles. I love Stephen Lynch. And Wheeler, the Wheeler guy. He does drop him out them tiggle bitties.
I slightly know this, yeah.
You need to use that. Eat a hot dog, Karen. You heard it first right here.
Put that on a shirt and sell that. That's what you need.
I actually have some new merch coming. That's a really good idea. I do. I have some new merch coming. I have an artist working on some of my merch, new stuff that's going to be coming to my store. But Quebecois, yeah. That's people from Quebec.
I'll tell you, I have like 2 shirts up on a TeePublic store. I'm trying to get the time to make designs myself and get all this stuff going on. It's a lot of work, and you gotta.
Content creation is a very hard industry, whether you do it for fun on the side or you're like me and you do it for a living. There's a lot of things that go behind the scenes that our people, our communities, our friends don't get to see. You don't get to see the hard work that goes in behind the scenes. You don't get to see the off mental health days. You don't get to see the stress because you have to watch what you say nowadays. I can't do this and I can't do that because I have a bunch of fucking people who are going to hate on it, right? So as a creator nowadays, it's super hard. I feel for celebrities and comedians because their jobs are basically gone if you do something that goes against the narrative. And, I know you're trying to build up your YouTube channel. And
we're working on it.
Yeah, right. It's difficult. You also work a full-time job.
I do.
And content creation is very hard. I used to work a full-time job as well until I was laid off. And then I started doing what I do now. And I am now full-time content creation. But that's very stressful in itself because I have to rely on others' goodwill to invest in my business of content creation. And you have that extra added stress on top of you besides creating content on a regular basis so you can stay fucking relevant. Because that's a whole other thing on top of that.
And just the algorithms and everything else, all the behind the scenes stuff, like you're booking shows a month ahead and then 2 days before somebody cancels and you have to have your backup.
Oh my God, yes.
When you, like I see it when you're doing shows, like for example, I know when I do stuff, it's like, okay, I need my graphics, I need my layouts, I need my music. So I'm the tech, I'm the booker, I'm the interviewer.
Everything.
Yeah, you're a one-stop shop, and it's challenging.
Yeah, it definitely is, and it takes its toll on you as well mentally, not just physically,
totally.
but mentally and emotionally as a creator. You know, you get that horrible comment from somebody talking, and you have to have thick skin as a creator, especially on the internet. You have to have thick skin. You have to be able to take what people say to you and just let it roll off your body. But yeah, there that one harsh comment that someone can say to you is just like, you know, that hits. We are fucking human. We are human. We're not robots. We don't have the millions of dollars behind us to back our show. So if you don't like it, oh wow, I still have a production or publishing behind me. I don't. I'm an indie creator. I create an indie horror web show that I hope people enjoy. And you do as well. You do your thing, and people tend to miss that as creators. They think we just sit here and have fun, but yeah.
I mean, we have fun, sure, but there's a lot of work that goes into it. And the more serious I take this, like I'm starting to step up the game a little more each time I do things. And it's okay. So we got to start doing this. I got to start booking things a month ahead, and then finding people that you want to talk to and working the schedule together. Ugh. Just everything is just it's a lot of work, but I feel like, and I know you feel it, that it's totally worth it, but it is stressful.
It's definitely worth it. I love what I do. I love what I do because I know that just because I'm sitting behind this screen, I know I've made somebody's day a little brighter. I know that I've put a smile on somebody's face because whatever I may have said, right? Eat a hot dog, Karen. That was on a fucking whim. And, you know, I'm sure someone smiled at that one or had a smirk or did a little giggle and maybe made their day just a little bit brighter.
I might start quoting you on that, by the way.
Go for it. But yeah, no, it's definitely, there is no rest. No, there isn't. I always work. Like I had to do an audio and visual test with Pant Ninja, and he works. Our time zones are different. He's East Coast. I am Mountain Time, so there's 2-hour time difference. And he works. So I'm like, okay, 7:30 my time on Friday, and I was running late because I had a really fucked up Friday.
It happens. I mean, that's life.
Right? And then I'm like, we did a quick rundown, and he had to go to work in like 10 minutes as well. So we both have a very busy schedule. And then this morning, I'm like, good morning. Actually, I didn't even say good morning first. I'm like, I'm going to contact you in 10 minutes, like at 10 minutes before the stream. Oh, by the way, good morning.
I'll tell you, I was sitting here in my boxers, my hair standing up. I'm just like, all right, give me that's my head, you know, like, because we ran so late last night. I was up to like 2:30 in the morning talking to people. And shout out once again to Mad Metal Man. He's taking off. Much love, brother. I'll catch you soon. Yeah, so we were having a late night last night, and then I'm talking to people about future stuff, and I'm like, crap, it's like 2:30 in the morning. I gotta run, wake up, do all this stuff. Like, it's a challenge, but it's fun. And I was really excited for this. I've watched a bunch of your stuff, and I'm subscribed to your YouTube for a while now, and I like the tarot card reading things you do. I like that stuff.
I do them often. I do them. Well, Twitter is where I do them on a regular basis.
I've seen you popping up with those when I catch them. Yeah, I don't even have time to log into Twitter sometimes. I go like a week without logging in, and it's like, I need to catch up on this. I need to keep it relevant. I get it, you know.
Yeah, content creation's a lot of work, no matter what you do, right? Whether you create a podcast or you sit in front of a camera, you play video games, you read stories, it doesn't matter. It's definitely a difficult thing.
Mm-hmm. And there was years I wouldn't even turn the camera on, show my face. It would all be audio. And adding the camera, we got to do the lighting setup. I want this to look like a retro thrift store is what I'm going for here.
I love it. I love your background.
Thanks.
I like the pink flamingo and the green palm tree.
Amazon. I'm telling you, Amazon is your best friend.
Yes, it is.
And obviously your setup's amazing. I love the knickknacks. I love the horror scene, you know.
Thank you. Yeah. I have been collecting for many, many, many years, over 20.
Whew, I don't have room for everything. Like this whole other wall is covered in stuff. I got my guitars over there. a whole bunch of stuff. Like
I
that's
feel
something
you.
else I want to try to do is like maybe play a little acoustic guitar once in a while on air, trying to get my chops back.
Nice. You know, you should hook up with It's Mr. Scott Reacts. I will tag you in
Okay.
a Twitter post. It's Mr. Scott has a YouTube channel. It's all about metal. He is awesome. He plays the bass. And he has a channel here on Twitch that he does as well. So he does Twitch and he does YouTube and he does play his bass and he'll play music on there. He's really good. And I think you guys would hit it off.
I'd be down. I'll tell you this, anyone listening, anyone out there, I will interview anyone. I have a knowledge on a wide variety of subjects and I love learning things. So if you got anybody, throw them my way. I'll link up. I'll help out. I'm a very big on team player and supporting like content creation, indie business, indie movies, like everything. Let's do it. Let's work together and build something great.
I agree. I completely agree. There was a tweet that I, on the whole content creation thing, that I retweeted from somebody who put me into someone else's tweet that I didn't know who they were. I want to read that tweet. I know I retweeted it. I just got to find it.
Sure.
But I thought it was very relevant to what we're talking about. Cassandra, that's her name. She says, this is her tweet. Ever smile at a clever tweet, enjoy a pic on Instagram, or laugh at a TikTok? Someone took the time to make that post for you to enjoy, often for free. Content creators are underappreciated and get hit with burnout hard. Don't be afraid to thank your favorites, and it means a lot. That tweet really hit me because exactly, we create content, and for the most part, we don't make money off of that content. It's very rare. I have yet to have someone come to me and say, hey, by the way, you want to stream at this time for $100? Or
Right.
I'm going to sponsor this week's Coffee Chat of Horrors. Here's $500. Let's get it on. That doesn't happen. I'm not
It doesn't.
Mommy Warbucks over here, right? And that
We're starving artists.
we are. We may not be painting
Right.
and sitting on the streets with our paints and our big faces and drawing shit, but we are creating something else. Pants Ninja, I could send you my husband's shape object. He had his band and toured the world since 1984. Lament, do you want to put out what his band is? The name of the band?
I'm all about music. I'm actually into music videos for Low Key and Dirty, DURTE, underground rappers.
Nice.
Good stuff.
Nice.
Years back though.
Right. No, I think that's great. And, as you evolve as your own YouTuber and creative, things will definitely go. Hell Witch,
Gotcha. I will. Let me
Check
find
them
my
out.
notepad. I'll write that down.
Yep. You probably know Hell Witch. If you've listened to any type of death metal or hard metal, you have probably heard Hell Witch.
Well, I will definitely be. I'll have to rewatch this show and write all this stuff down too. I should have been taking notes the whole time.
No worries. No worries. My show will be, actually, you and I will be up on YouTube this week.
Sweet.
Definitely will be up on YouTube. I don't know if I can tag on YouTube, but I will definitely let you know when I put it up. I don't think I have to edit this one, so that's fucking great. Half the time we watch a movie trailer or something like that, and I always have to edit that before putting it up on YouTube because YouTube DMCA, you can lose your whole channel. And so I don't have to edit this one, so it can go from here all the way up.
Nice. I'll definitely be looking for that, and I have to get with you sometime to have you over in the dojo sometime.
Anytime. I would love to be on your show.
We have fun.
For sure. It's always a good time talking with people that very similar interests. Even if they're not similar interests, it's still fun seeing someone else's perspective and opinions on whatever we talk about. It's always a good time.
Every moment is a learning experience, and let's do it, right? Like, let's go.
I completely agree. I know we're getting to be that time. We have like 20 minutes left. I wanted to ask you, I ask all my guests this, if you can pick whichever one, and we're going off of original lore, vampire or werewolf?
Werewolf all day.
Yes, me too.
All about.
I love the lore of vampire, but I really, there's something about werewolves.
I'll say human being naturally can be a beast, and it's such a play on the duality of humankind. You know what I mean?
It is. It really is.
Very Dr. Jekyll-ish, you know.
Hmm?
I like stuff that you look at something. Yeah, vampire lore, amazing. No, I love vampire stuff, but there's just something about turning into that beast and letting your rage loose kind of feeling, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Usa.
That's a great question too. I like that.
Thanks. I ask everybody who comes onto the show, werewolf or vampire. I mean, they both have their downsides. I mean, let's get at it. You have vampire, you have to literally drink blood and you cannot be out in the daytime anymore. You won't even ever eat regular food again. And hell, you're dead, so you're not having sex. I don't care what True Blood has taught you. You ain't having sex. I'm sorry. The dead body don't get boners because blood flow. Blood flow creates a boner. If you're fucking dead, you don't have blood flow to bring that boner. Now, werewolves, however, painful transformation. Cannot control that transformation during a full moon. And so it would be super painful going through that. Your hands would be bigger, your nails, your teeth, your face would have to come out. And I think American Werewolf in London portrayed that very, very well in that transformation.
I was going to say that's the first thing that popped in my head between when you started talking about how painful the transformation is. Now I wonder, like, the human body gets used to certain types of pain sometimes, especially if you're living with some kind of ailment that's a permanent, whatever. I wonder if you would be able to like get used to that, or if it's just going to be incredibly painful each time. Or
let's go to What We Do in the Shadows and the Swearwolves. We're not swearwolves. I don't know if you've ever seen What We Do in the Shadows. Okay, well,
not
you
yet.
Need to see it. You definitely need to put that motherfucker on your list because it's one of my favorites. And you see the transformation of the werewolves in that one. Now, they're not overly as painful. They're not. Their transformation isn't. So it could be to where your body would get used to it. But every transformation that happened in American Werewolf in London was very painful. So I don't know if you would get used to that kind of pain. Well, I mean, I guess it's like having babies. You don't ever get used to that pain. It doesn't matter if you have your kids back to back or you have them 10 years apart. That pain is still fucking painful. And I think it might be a different type of pain throughout your transformation, especially as you kind of age, but you don't age because werewolves don't age. But you would have to think after a while how painful that would be. But then you could control, if we go off of original vampire and werewolf lore, you have no control over when you transform during a full moon. And for vampires, you don't have sex. I don't care what True Blood has taught you.
Well, listen, if people doubt that, just go watch Monster Squad because Wolfman got nards.
Exactly. Monster Squad's another good one. Lament, thank you for the tiggle bitties, darling. I appreciate them.
Yay, tiggle bitties.
Well, I would think for a werewolf, they would have to fully transform. So it wouldn't just be your face transforming. Sorry, a vamp would kill the wolf before he panted. I don't know, Serial. Honestly, the werewolf could hunt down the vampire and kill him right before he even wakes up out of his slumber. Because vampires cannot be in sun. And if you go back, there's like numerous different lores of vampires. Now, do you know that some of the very first lore of vampire comes from Greek mythology? Zeus, Artemis, all of them, Artemis, they have their own, actually, their vampire lore outdates majority of vampire lore. If you want, go and look that up. On my podcast, I go through the whole vampire lore that is Greek mythology, where it's an Italian adventurer, and he meets a lady who is a follower of the god Apollo. And it goes into the whole lore of vampire and why they cannot be out in the sun. Now, obviously, there's Bram Stoker. There's also numerous other vampire lore that come from different parts of the world. But this one, it dates back to be some of the oldest lore of vampirism.
Oh, see, I'm learning something right now. Let me tell you.
I love vampires and I love werewolves. I love monsters. So I know quite a bit. I do a lot of extensive research on monsters because they're my favorite. Frankenstein's monster is my numero uno in monsters. Growing up, that was my favorite monster. And as an adult, it's my favorite monster. Bitten was a good TV series. Yeah.
You're hitting my heart on a lot of stuff here, especially Frankenstein. You feel bad for, like, let's talk about the Universal Frankenstein movies, right?
Yeah.
You felt bad for him. He had everything was just him learning how to be human again after being a series of parts and stuff. And so much sympathy for that creature right there.
Well, he didn't ask to be born. When he was created, he was reanimated from dead body parts. He was misunderstood because he couldn't speak. He never had a name either. Everybody calls him Frankenstein's monster. Frankenstein's monster never had a name. He was always judged and misunderstood. As a child, when I seen the very first Frankenstein's monster, Boris Karloff is my very first film that I seen of Frankenstein's monster. And there's been many. But that was my first one. I was able to relate to that monster at a very young age. I enjoyed horror growing up. I was the odd kid. I was raised quite differently than the majority of the population where I lived. I was always the outcast. I was always misunderstood, and I was able to relate to that monster more than the werewolf or the Invisible Man or Bela Lugosi and Dracula. I was able to relate more with Frankenstein's monster growing up, and even as an adult, I'm still an outcast to a certain extent. And I think a lot of people can relate to Frankenstein's monster in some part of their life, where we can't in like Dracula or anything like that.
I concur, and I saw Lament made a point about Frankenstein's monster made me cry just like at 13th. Now that's another reason I like Jason. Poor kid, mentally disabled, couldn't swim, made fun of for how he looked and how he was. He couldn't help that, and that's what killed him. And no wonder he got, it's a spirit of vengeance, I feel like, that's something that I really like. Stuff like that hits me hard, especially disabilities. My brother's disabled, had a car accident caused him whatever. So it's like it really hit a note to me on a lot of that kind of stuff,
I completely agree with you. There are many iterations of both, and the changes in both is a lot. I feel that Wolf's sensitivity to silver and only being in his element on a full moon, the wolf does not spend enough time in wolf form, but the wolf can do enough time in their own skin, depending on the lore of the werewolf that you're going off of. Now, there are numerous lore, and every culture has a form of werewolf. Even in Japan, even in the Orient and in Asia, they have their own versions of a werewolf, and it's really dependent on the lore that you're going to be following. Some lore allow werewolves to actually transform into werewolves whenever they want. Other lore is only on a full moon. But as with vampire is the same thing. Each area of the world, each culture has their own thing of vampirism. And it may not be called a vampire per se, but they have their very own lore on their culture. And you got to think about this. We're going back in time where people thought, in France, for instance, werewolves in France, that is an actual thing. There is history books and pictures showcasing what their werewolf looked like, and is nothing like what we think a werewolf looks like. And this big giant dog creature would come into the villages and take the young because they were the weakest, they were the slowest, they weren't as fast. And usually the children were off playing off in the field somewhere, so the werewolf would come and eat the kid. In numerous cultures, they have werewolves. Vampires was more of a story and lore, but if you really dig deep into werewolf history, there is more shown that werewolves were real than they were myth and legend, unlike a vampire. Just like Bigfoot, yeah.
Bigfoot, yeah. That's a good one. They should make a really decent Bigfoot movie.
Yeah, there isn't any really good. I mean, there is some funny ones like Cherokee Creek, independent film made by Todd Jenkins and Billy Blair. If you haven't seen Cherokee Creek, it is I fucking love that film. It's hilarious. It is, if you like 80s raunchy style films, this will be up your alley. It's not made in the 80s, but it's got that raunchy feel to it. It's guy humor. And when I say guy humor, farts and clitoris and all sorts of fucking jokes go along with that film.
Right.
There is male frontal. Now, Todd believes in equality for men and women. So in the nude scenes, you will see full frontal male. You will see dong and all. Not just dong, though. But he believes in equality. Same thing with Uncle Lloyd Kaufman, how he believes in equality for both. I can't stand that it's only women's tits that get shown in movies and their asses. It's kind of chauvinistic and just one-sided, that we can show a female's tits, but we can't show a man's dick. Why? It's a rated R film. What's the fucking problem here?
Everybody's naked underneath their clothes. Whatever.
Exactly. Exactly.
I don't even think about that stuff. For me, it's more just, like I said, the effects, the story.
Yeah.
But you make a great point, though.
I do a lot of research, and that's my thing. I love horror. I love the genre. I love the industry. I read and research a lot. When I do a normal coffee chat of horrors, we autopsy films. It takes me a good week, sometimes 2 weeks, to research a film. I don't just go to IMDb and copy and paste the shit and put it onto a notepad and regurgitate that shit. I research it. I look for the directors. I look for interviews with the directors, the producers, the cast. I go back. I use IMDb. I use numerous websites. And then I go into some of my books that I have and I research the films. I research everything. And I like seeing the evolution of it as well. So when I bring things like that to Coffee Chat of Horrors, it's actual research. It's not copy and paste bullshit that you get off the internet.
And it shows. It shows.
Thank you. I research on my own time as well. So when I'm watching a movie that I've seen, if I've seen the movie twice already, I'll sit there and research it while I'm watching it for the third time and go into it. And I like the fact that horror in itself has always rooted for the underdog, always the person or people that society thought were weak. Always. It has always had that in it from the start of time, where comedy and action and thrillers were way different. They always portrayed men as the strong thing that was always coming out on top. And horror always portrayed, yes, the killer, but also portrayed what society thought as weaker or lesser than. And when it comes to the equality of sexes in film, we're just getting onto that equality for men and women. And that's one of the things I really love about independent films, especially Uncle Lloyd Kaufman and Cherokee Creek, is the fact that they bring in the equality of both. As a woman, I get to see more tits in the fucking world than I've ever seen dong, unless I was watching a porno. Romeo and Juliet, you get to see both sides, right?
Let me just give a shout out to Debbie Rochon, one of my favorite actresses ever.
She's awesome.
Hell yeah. Romeo and Juliet's a good one. That's a good one.
It is a great one. But see, that's where, I've always watched horror. It's my thing. It's my jam. I don't really watch out. I do watch other films like comedy and action, but not as much as I watch my horror films. And yeah, seeing the equality, the evolution of equality happening is mainly happening in independent films or independent production companies like Troma, right? You're not really seeing it in mainstream movies. You're seeing
cookie cutters.
Yeah. Tromeo and Juliet is God. I agree on that. And I think if people haven't seen Tromeo and Juliet, please go out and find it. Troma Now is a great app, and it's definitely worth the $5 a month to get the Troma app. The Troma app is now out on Amazon Fire Stick, so if you were waiting for that motherfucker to come, it is out. It's $4.99. It is worth it, and you support an independent production company. And if you don't know who Troma Industries is, Troma Entertainment, please go and look them up. Mike Hertz and Lloyd Kaufman were the creators back in the 70s. And Mike Hertz isn't as involved with it as Lloyd is currently, but you can still see some of the greatness that they brought upon, and they opened the way for independent creatives.
They truly did. I'm also going to say that Hertz was always kind of in the background, but
Yes,
Lloyd Kaufman on Twitter, go follow him there. I want to give a shout out to the app too. Fantastic, absolutely.
Yeah.
And they add content monthly. They have they actually started doing like web comics. The old Toxic Avenger comics are up there.
They do. They've got a website as well. You can buy merch.
Yep.
And again, all of this is independent. Uncle Lloyd is not backed by New Line Cinemas or Paramount Pictures or any big giant companies that's throwing dollar bills at him. This comes out of his own pocket. Like I was saying, in 2006, when Poltergeist Night of the Chicken Dead came out, that came out of him and his wife's pocket.
Yep.
They still haven't made that money back on what they spent. And it just goes to show you how he has made the way for independent people like Womp Stomp Films and all these other artists like B. Harrison Smith and what he creates. There's so many independent creatives out there that do not get the highlight that some of these bigger companies get because they have the iconic slashers, they have the iconic killers. I agree with you, Lament, and Uncle Lloyd Kaufman supports independent creators. Look at Little Spark Films. We had Little Spark Films on Coffee Chat of Horrors a couple of weeks ago. They made Vice Mares. They're also part of the Mutant Fam. They have The Torturer, which is currently on the festival circuit.
Yep.
Uncle Lloyd Kaufman has worked with them and has their show on his app, Trauma Now. You can actually watch the Grindhouse exploitation. I think it's 9 and 10 on the Trauma Now app. And he gives independent creatives a fucking chance. And I think that's what's needed. And I had a tweet out on Twitter a couple of days ago asking people to shout out their favorite independent artists. And it's sad to see that tweet had a few people in it when there are hundreds of amazing independent film creators. And
I'm going to pop the Trauma website in there for him.
Definitely. It's kind of sad because you can turn around and say, give me a whole bunch of directors that you love, and all of a sudden you get all the mainstreams that come out there. When I did that one for independent creatives, there was only a couple. And it's like, I know there's hundreds of them. I've interviewed a ton of independent creators out there. A ton of them. James Sweet, Red Crow Films, Vincent DeSanti, Womp Stomp, Catalina and Joe from Little Spark Films. And there's tons of them out there. B.H. Harrison Smith, he's an independent. Yep. Right? There's
Go
lots
watch
of them.
the special.
It's on my list. The special and The Fields. Those are the two films I have yet to see. They're both on my list. I've watched Camp Dread, which I fucking loved, and I loved Death House.
I want to watch Death House. It's on my list. I watched a few of them. Mm-hmm. I actually wanted to get a chance to talk with him sometime. I got to message him and see if I can set that up.
Yeah,
I missed the show. Yeah.
But Harrison Smith is awesome. He's very friendly, very down to earth, loves to chat, and he's super passionate about filmmaking and horror. I had a blast with him on the show a couple of weeks ago, and I agree with you, Cannibal. James Gunn got his start from Trauma. Yes.
That was Romeo and Juliet was his first one.
Yes. And The Fields, by the way, Pants Ninja, The Fields is based off of Harrison Smith as a child, some of the events that went on at his grandparents' farm.
I did hear that, actually, yeah. Yeah. That's so much to catch up on. I'm going to need like a week of just watching stuff.
I know. I watch as I can. And I'm super busy myself and trying to create content and edit videos because YouTube is very picky on monetization for videos. And this one I'm thankful for. I don't have to edit much. I just have to edit the first part of the VOD, but then you'll be up on my YouTube channel. And for anybody who missed the show, it'll be up on my YouTube. You will not be able to watch it directly today because it is unpublished. It will be published later on today. You'll be able to watch it on Twitch if you want. But on my YouTube channel is where you'll be able to catch the whole thing. Also get all of the information from our guest today, the Pants Ninja. And we are getting to be that time. Is there anything or any project or anything or anyone you would like to shout out before we end?
Well, I'm gonna shout out, like I said, Steve Woodzinski last night was a great show. I'm gonna shout out, like I said, Mad Metal Man. The parody accounts on Twitter, love these guys. Halloween Verse especially, they have a YouTube channel. We have they have discussions over there.
Nice.
Stabby Time, Garbage Pail Queen,
Love them.
all them guys. The Joe Bob Briggs Discord, I'm gonna shout them guys out too for being awesome. So there's a lot of people, so we'll try to I'll try to
Definitely.
keep it short, but yeah, I mean, just support your independent business owners, your independent creators. If you're a creator yourself, or if you got something to share, hit me up. I'll be happy to pass on anything. And Raw, if you ever need anything, drop a line. You know,
Will do. Again, thank you, the Pants Ninja, for being on the show. Thank you for hanging out with us on your Sunday. I do greatly appreciate it. Now, the Pants Ninja does have Mystic Ninja Designs. That is what a side job that Pants Ninja does for graphic design and creation. They also have a YouTube channel right there. The real Mystic Ninja Designs is their YouTube channel, and their Twitter. They have two: the Real Pants Ninja, and then the Parody cosplay channel that he does is Dr. Herbert West. Right there are the links, guys. Make sure you go show him some love. This video will be up on my YouTube later this week, and
hell yeah.
Again, thank you. I had a blast chatting with you, my friend. Always a good time. And you have yourself a great day. I am going to contact you for some links, because you did shout out a couple of people earlier. Sure. And I want to add them to the YouTube description so they can get a little bit of love as well.
That's awesome. That's what it's about.
That is,
hell yeah.
Yes. That's why I love Coffee Chat of Horrors, because we do, not only do we showcase films and autopsy films, some of them are well known, some of them are not well known, and we also showcase independent creatives such as yourself on the show.
Well, I appreciate it. I want to shout out your chat too for being awesome. You guys are amazing. I hope we can connect again soon. That'd be great.
The Horde is awesome. The Horde is awesome. I would not be here without each and every one of them that have come into this. Some of them have been following me and been my friend for about 5 years.
Hell yeah. That's what it's about, though, this community. It's about the love. You guys have been amazing. Raw, this has been a fantastic for me. Like, it's one of the best shows. I don't do a lot of shows for other people much, so this has been fantastic. That's all I can say. Like, absolutely.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.